Here we go.
PlayStation
Welcome to the land of long live play where greatness is always waiting. Welcome to the PlayStation Experience. I am one of your hosts, Delvin Cox. And with me, as always, is the Platinum Princess herself, Miss Haley Nicole Miller. How you doing, Haley?
I'm doing all right. I still don't know why that intro video is incredibly quiet for us.
I don't know either. I don't even go there. Joining us all as well, our Lord and Savior, the Lord of the Manor, Lord Snurts. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, buddy. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right.
And
let's
oddly
get to
enough,
it.
sorry to interrupt, but oddly enough, that intro was loud for me.
That's interesting
Work
because
for
for
somebody.
both Delvin and I, we hear the PlayStation Experience noise, but then the audio on it drops to like nothing.
Oh, I was jamming out. It was great. Great sound on my side of the fence.
Haley broke it.
It does the same. It does the same thing for Donnie and Dev too on PSVG. It goes quiet on them.
But they don't matter. It's still not important. So I guess we'll start with the guests. Snurts, how's your week been, man? How's Thanksgiving and everything been treating you, buddy?
Thanksgiving was wholesome. I go down to visit my good friends in Oceanside who has the wife, the dog, the kid, and I play Funkle for a few days. There's nothing more wholesome than reading a good night story to a 2-year-old who allows you to do all the silly voices, even if you don't keep them consistent, and will still be like, one more time. So I had a very nice, wholesome
legend.
Thanksgiving. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we should probably introduce you to everybody. So I'm quite sure there's plenty of people who don't know who you are. So for those who don't know who Snurts is, let them know who you are, Snurts.
I am a podcast connoisseur. Some will say a fiend. Like I'm a big fan of the Who Would Win show, Dial Up Movie Club, Gutting the Sacred Cow, of course, the Delvin Cox Experience and the PlayStation Experience. And I love the video games. I've been playing since the Commodore 64 days and been bouncing around consoles. The latest two that I've been on are the PS4 and PS5. I'm also a big nerd for
Finally, I'm
comic
not the oldest
books.
person here.
No, well, I think you are, but you're not alone because I will get more of your references than Haley probably will. And
He makes wrestling references repeatedly, expecting me to understand them, and then I'm just there like, I don't know what to tell you.
I've already found an exception to my statement because I do not follow wrestling. So Haley, you and I will be like, okay, Delvin.
Boy, oh boy. You would
and I'm
think
very
at least
excited.
one.
Yeah, I mean, I
We've
know
only been
of
podcasting
wrestling
together for like 300 years.
Yeah, I'm sure Haley's just faking it. I'm sure she could like come up with at least 3 wrestler names.
Probably.
I mean, yeah,
Haley,
but
come
like,
on with 3 wrestler names. Let's see what you got.
you literally, all right, fine, fuck you. CM Punk, John Cena, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The fuck you want
Yeah,
from me?
see?
2 of them are
There you
actors
go.
now.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. See, I'm proud of
2
you.
of them are actors now. One of them's repeatedly in the news for being an asshole.
Well, Haley, I have a question for you. Let's see if you know this because this is big news. One of them came back last night.
Yeah. Is it CM Punk because you retweeted a photo of him standing beside Triple H?
God damn it. Who told you to follow my Twitter, Haley? That is accurate. CM Punk came back to the WWE last night.
Oh. Like, I don't know. Is it the thing I saw you retweet earlier?
I didn't think you listened. I didn't think you followed my Twitter. Now I gotta make sure I'm not saying any wild things on my Twitter now.
No, well, you're good.
At least if you're gonna hold it for the pod, I mean, you may be like,
don't retweet it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That too. Make sure I say all the things I usually say to people on Twitter.
Yeah.
So go ahead and finish, Snurts.
Yeah.
Me and Snurts, for those who don't know, which we've also said, I've said plenty of times, people, me and Snurts is in a nerdy ass D&D group playing Transformers.
Oh yeah, Traumatron and Ares Prime, rocking it.
That is correct.
Picking up all the slack of Breakneck, and these are all references that no one but Delvin and I and 2 other people are going to
get. That is correct.
Yeah, and hopefully we can keep that going because it's a lot of fun. But yeah, big game enthusiast overall. I love animation. I love voiceover work. I'm a big fan of what Crystal's doing on her network and stuff like that. And I'm just happy to be a part of a conversation to have 2 lovely people to talk about all things nerdy, from shows to games to everything in between.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to have you on. What I'm going to ask you? Oh, let's ask the question everybody always talks about. What's your favorite video game?
That's always a tough one. I'm going to just off the top of my head, because it can change from moment to moment. Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum is a game that I, on Xbox 360, got 100 of all the achievements. I usually don't do that. There's only 2 games on PlayStation that I platinumed. There's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. I'm also a big fan of Halo Combat Evolved and such RPGs as Mass Effect and Fallout.
Good choice.
You got some good taste.
I would put City.
Go ahead, Halo. Tell me why he's wrong.
No. So I will say that Arkham City is my favorite of the trilogy. I don't count Origins. And it is, to me, the best of the 2 worlds, because to me Dark Knight is too heavy and Asylum is a little light. But because Asylum was the first, and because they had the very tight story, not that the City didn't, it is one of my favorites.
Okay.
I wasn't saying you're wrong. I really like City, and
City's
also
fantastic.
the Batmobile drags too much in Night.
Yes, 100%. And also the combat in City is good, because like you can actually go back to those challenges and beat people up and remember the combos a lot easier than on Night, where you're like, okay, the ninja has to do this counter, and then the big guy with the electric sticks is this counter, and they added so many variables to the combat situation that you can't really just pick it up like you used to be able to.
No.
And even maybe too many characters to pick from, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I used to be just like Batman, Robin, Nightwing, but I did like the DLC pack where you get to play as Batgirl and Robin, taking on the Joker.
Oh, those are fun.
Amusement park pier. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, they're good. The problem I also have with Night is that, as opposed to Arkham City, where they have New Game Plus, that takes the only difference with Arkham City's New Game Plus as opposed to Asylum is that they take away the combat. They just take away the combat indicators, yes. Right? So you have to get really good at combo timing. Yep. But for Arkham Knight, they changed it. New Game Plus automatically defaults to the hardest difficulty in the game. Yeah. All the enemies can one-shot you, and combo indicators are gone. What are we doing? Why?
Yeah. I made an attempt to beat Asylum on the hardest level, and that took a lot of focus and dedication, because you really have to follow the animation, and you can't just rely on the squiggly lines. Your spider senses are no longer tingling as Batman.
Correct.
To my heroes here.
Yeah.
I do not even want to attempt Nightmare Mode on Arkham Knight.
No, and fuck them Riddler trophies.
There's 400 of them.
There are too many of them, and the puzzles are too difficult. I don't want to keep looking stuff up every time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the brightest person ever, but
we know.
Thank you. But there comes a point where you just get frustrated. You give it 3 or 4 attempts, and you're like, okay, I can move on with my life. I can look it up, or I could just give up. And after a while, you're like, I'll just YouTube that secret ending be
happy.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did. And also, my favorite is going, oh, so he's not dead. I'm like, did you expect them to kill Batman? Like,
well, to be fair, Gotham Knights.
Hey, you know what? They tried something new and then immediately ruined immediately ruined it with that ending where, oh, look, we brought him back using the Lazarus Pit. Oh, then we killed him 10 minutes later. It's Gotham Knights. Fuck you. I don't care.
I wasn't going to say that part, but
I would like to thank both of you, though, because you guys saved me time and money, because I was very curious about Gotham Knights. And then after hearing the episode about it, I was like, well, I am no longer curious.
The gameplay,
just buy heroin instead.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I had fun with the gameplay, but the story is just not worth it. It's not good. All right, Snurts, what you been watching? What you been playing?
All right. Well, I was a little late to the game, but I finally saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse while I was visiting my friends in Oceanside.
What did you think of it?
Man,
I hope you liked it. I'm hanging you off the show right now.
Yeah. I have no idea where they're going with this. No. Why are things animated? No. It's fantastic. It keeps the excellent music, animation, and humor. I mentioned this as a agree to disagree on another podcast hosted by Matthew, and I still believe animation is the best medium besides comic books to tell comic book stories.
I agree.
I mean, because you can do a lot more with it. So
correct, and the visuals were just amazing. Like when you saw the different dimensions that they were going to with their own artistic art style, that gave you all those clues. They're like, hey, you're somewhere different, but it wasn't shoving it down your face and making it obvious. It's like, if you pay attention, you'll pick it up quicker. And then eventually the story will let you know what's going on.
Yeah. Some of the Easter eggs too, you'll only know if you know like Spider-Man history, like Donald I'm just gonna I always fuck him up and the older guy. So I'm just gonna call him Childish Gambino. But him being there.
Yeah, Donald Glover. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to say it, but there's another guy that has like a very similar name, right? Like,
yeah, isn't it Danny?
It's about Danny Glover.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's what
not the Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, no, but Danny Glover being there, you'll only know is
now you just messed it up again. You said it right to immediately mess it up.
We should have just let her talk. We should have just let her go. Because
anyways,
no.
No, him being there is because like he's in the movie because he's the reason Miles Morales exists in the first place.
Oh, okay. Neat. Yeah, I also love the PlayStation Easter eggs in there as well. I don't want to spoil the movie for people looking at it, but if you have a sharp eye, I caught at least two that were relevant to recent game releases.
There was supposed to be a third reference for Spider-Man, like, because no spoilers for Spider-Man 2, by the way, but there was something cut from the film that has to do with the collectible in Spider-Man 2. So,
okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about because you said you platinumed it already.
I was actually surprised how accessible the platinum was. Usually there's one or two things where I'm just like, I'm out.
This has been a great year for video gaming.
Yes.
Just incredible. And I'm glad you like Spider-Verse too.
I did. I'm a big fan of the first one. My only critique is it was a little long. And I thought the first story was a little bit tighter, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was very entertaining, and I'm probably going to get it on the Apple movie store soon.
I would get it now. It's on sale for $10.
That is fantastic. Please pause while Snurts goes whips out the wallet.
Snurts. After the show, DM me, Snurts.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I saw something on I saw the email from the Patreon feed.
Just DM.
Okay.
I got you.
Yes, sir. You got it. But yeah, great, fantastic movie.
What have you been playing, Snurts? I know you said you were playing Baldur's Gate, right?
Yeah, so I was doing City Skylines Remastered again, and that ties into one of our questions. So I'm just kind of planting the seed there. But the one that I'm putting most of my hours into is Baldur's Gate 3, which is a surprise because I'm usually not a turn-based combat person. and I was a little hesitant about this, but then there was a few reasons. One of the reasons was actually our nerdy tabletop game. It's like, well, maybe I can help out our game master Ken if I knew a little bit more of these D&D mechanics and wasn't asking him 1,000 questions every play session. I also heard from my sister that it was a fantastic game, and it reminded her a lot of Dragon Age Origins. So that was a big selling point. And then people on Twitter and through Discord were saying it's great, it's great, it's great. So I finally just decided to go for it. I made a sorcerer gnome named Kurzcourt, which is German and Dutch for short. So her name is Short. And I am loving the writing. I'm still getting used to the gameplay. There's things that I'm not used to in RPGs, like you can't fit everybody through a door, which when I say that out loud, it makes complete logical sense, but not kind of like these gaming experiences that I'm used to, which is more like I said before, like a Mass Effect or a Fallout RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of getting an idea of that, like knowing that, go into the rafters to with your archers or your ranged characters to get a extra advantage, so you get higher damage, and so I'm learning all sorts of things and having a lot of fun. And I do really appreciate the save load function on there, because if I do make a mistake that I don't really want to do, you can very easily go back and fix it. So having a lot of fun. I like the writing a lot.
What level are you?
I am only level 5 and I'm in Act 1. I kind of blew through the main content and then got to the mountain pass, and they were like, "Don't do it, don't go.
Oh,
it's gonna be bad." And then so I went back and kind of cleaned up some areas that I knew, like I left some like bad guys to take out and some like harpies or something like that. But now I feel like I'm in a pretty good place, and I'm gonna hit that mountain pass and go on to Act 2.
Okay, so fair note. You will know when you're about to enter Act 2. Entering the mountain pass is not Act 2.
Oh, okay. I made that assumption. That was an assumption I made.
The game gives you that warning because there's only one quest in Act 1 that is timed. And I'm not spoiling anything for you.
Sure.
There's one quest in Act 1 that is timed. For anyone who knows what I'm talking about, it's a very specific quest. You're tasked. If you're about to if you were going there, you probably already have this quest, so I'm not spoiling like what it's about. But you're tasked with going to find someone.
Okay, gotcha.
For a specific location. If you go through the mountain pass before doing that quest, you will come back and find the mountain pass, like that area, sealed off.
Okay.
But that's why the game gives you that warning. But you can both go to the mountain pass and the Underdark without entering Act 2. The game will very explicitly tell you when you are about to enter Act 2, because it will introduce a new mechanic to you.
Gotcha.
That you have to deal with for the entirety of Act 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's a lot. That learning curve is steep, and it's constantly just figuring out all the little leveling mythologies and spell slots and all the other things. But I'm having a blast learning it, and it's really engaging. Like I spent days in that goblin camp, and I never got frustrated. I never got bored. It was just like, oh, what's over here? What's over here? And other people have said it definitely has one of those hold, one more turn type of feeling when you're playing a video game.
Let's get to the real thing people want to know about this game. Snurks.
Oh boy,
who are you banging?
Oh
you sexy vampire man.
So I immediately Donnie in the chat is pretty funny right now. So I started with what's her face, the gal who's the dragon with the green skin and the blades. She's the fighter.
Oh, the Githyanki. Lae'zel.
Yeah, so Lae'zel was already like, I like I like your swagger, and I was like, let's go. And then now I was kind of sick of her, so I'm going for the demon gal, because she is hot.
Oh, she's not a demon, but Karlach.
Karlach. Yes. I'm very hesitant to say these names because I haven't heard them out loud, and generally,
she's a demon,
if I
which
read
needs
something,
to be right.
I mean, I'm in Act 3. I'm level 9, and I'm also a sorcerer paladin mix. So Yeah, you know.
So okay,
the
gotta ask Haley the question. Haley, who you banging?
Yeah.
Still Shadowheart, buddy. Still Shadowheart. Still.
You're being faithful.
Still Shadowheart.
Slinging it to everybody.
I also
this snow has no boundaries.
I made all of my companions do something, but I can't say it because it's a huge spoiler for Act 2. So,
as she's sipping her drink, she's like,
but I corrupted all of them except one. The only one I couldn't corrupt was Astarion. He was like, "Nah, fuck you."
That's the vampire dude, right?
That is the vampire twink. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is literally what dude is. Vampire twink, hustler, scammer, con artist.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
The horse. No, his name is Astarion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you play?
That's about it. I am very much like a Delvin, where I try to focus on one game at a time. I may dive into something.
And you fail miserably at it, like I do.
Sometimes, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes just go back into Spider-Man just to web sling around the city for a few minutes and just kind of get my mind off of the constant, because I tend to overthink Baldur's Gate a lot, and to wind down, sometimes it's easier just to get something that's a little less intellectually intense, and you just kind of web sling and webbling around the city and have a good time.
I had that exact same problem with Alan Wake 2 because I'm an idiot. So when I'm playing it, I think I'm an actual goddamn detective. So I just sit there and like the mindscape, just putting the clues together, like I'm on True Detective, like a moron. Like, stop doing this, Delvin. Go out and explore the world. No, I'm like, no. Well, let me see where this clue goes at.
I do want to point out you are correct, because some things won't actually let you interact with them until you put them on the board.
Yes, that is true. But I don't do that. I just say, let me just sit here. Put the board up. Let me figure this crime out myself. I'm going to figure the whole case out within 30 minutes. All right, Haley, what's your plan?
Well, before we get to work, I already had my Thanksgiving.
A month ago.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You're can't have the fake Thanksgiving.
Anyways, what I had was the Doctor Who 60th anniversary. So I watched special number 1.
People are mad about that.
Yeah, you know why? Because RTD said, "Fuck you, being trans saves lives." That's why. Literally, the plot of yesterday's plot of yesterday's 60th anniversary special was literally saved by a trans woman, and so now people are mad because fuck them.
Yeah, that's not right.
I don't want to get into it, but boy, I thought people were tripping about CM Punk yesterday. The Doctor Who fans are nuts.
You can just call them Doctor Who, Donnie. The time traveling doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he's right. Who? That's correct too.
Yes. Who? David Tennant was great as always. It's very funny to see that they built a TARDIS interior that he could just have the zoomies in. that man gets zoomies like a fucking cat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty accurate. And then Catherine Tate being back as Donna was very good. So that was the first of 3. There's for the next 2 weeks, every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. on Disney Plus is where folks can catch that if they're at all interested. And then the rest Disney of Doctor Plus. Who from going forward, Disney Plus has worldwide distribution rights for Doctor Who.
I didn't know that.
Everywhere except the UK. Like literally the entire world. Disney Plus has it except the UK, where it remains on BBC.
Interesting.
And so, but for those in the US, the original show, like 2005 on until like the last Doctor before we're here, is on HBO Max, or in Canada. For some reason, we don't have the 13th Doctor episodes, but they're on Prime here. I don't know how that distribution rights work, but that's how that goes. Very good. What I've been playing. I played 3 things this week.
Okay.
They legit Tara is 100% right.
Okay, so first thing I played this week, Evil West. Which
how do you like it?
I beat it. It was very good. I got it from my local library.
So it's very good then.
Use your local library, kids. You can probably rent all the video games you want. We've already established it's not the webcam because I have the same webcam as you. It's just the lighting in my room, but okay. At least I'm pretty sure I have the same webcam as you. You're the one that got it for me. So
getting derailed by the chat.
Well, that's welcome to XP now that we're live.
Absolutely.
Anyways, it's very good. It's very difficult though. So I started the game on hard just because, why? Because I wanted to start the game on hard.
Terrible. That sounds awful. No.
You're
brave.
I don't understand. I don't understand that reference actually. I
100% understand. You understand that reference?
Hell yeah, I do. You want me to? I could get my own.
Okay, I'll make it easy for you, Haley. Looks like you're smoking in the room with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
420 friendly.
Yes. Anyways, I started the game on hard, right? I start most. Fuck.
She can't get through it. She can't get through it.
Okay.
I didn't know it was a good show. I'll go grab my bong, guys. I'll be right back.
All right. I started the game on hard because that's generally what I start most games on. Unless there's an achievement for a difficulty higher than that. Looking at you, Last of Us 1. I'll play on that difficulty, right? But there was an achievement to play on a difficulty higher than hard, but it was a game I was not expecting. It was a game I was not expecting to like get the platinum on, right? It was just a game I was expecting to play, right? So the premise was interesting. It's cowboys fighting vampires in like the Old West. And the story is, it has way more budget than I thought. Like it's not a great looking game by any means. But it's fun. The production value is insane on some of these cutscenes. It's really weird. The combat though is where the game really shines. So most of it's melee, but like you unlock weapons throughout the campaign. Like you can get a revolver, a shotgun, a crossbow, and a Gatling gun, and then some of your like other weapons that you get, which are like there's like a flamethrower, explosives, and a thing that like stuns enemies, right? So you're meant to chain them all together, and it works really well. I really enjoyed it. I beat it in like 2 days because I rented it Saturday. I had it beat by Monday, so
that's quick.
Took it back on Monday. My PS5 game clock, which, by the way, for one of our questions, is broken. I had to literally actually go and look at something else because it's broken. It's showing me games that I know I have, more hours in. This is a little behind the scenes. There's a question later for like, what's our longest played game? Mine is broken because it's showing me Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's not. I know it's not Dragon Age Inquisition. But it like as you time these things together, it works. So I beat it in 10 hours, and I got half the trophies for it. I may do a New Game Plus run at some point, but I'll have to buy the game because I had to return it to the library. It's on sale right now, but I don't really have money.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's on sale right now. I don't really have money left right now to do that because I still got to buy my medication.
How much?
And I'm
right
hoping for
much.
What? It's $40 here.
It's $40 still.
And
it came out last year, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Kind of like,
it's $40 still.
It's half off.
Like that would
it's
be
50% off.
I
It's $39.99 right now, but I gotta buy my medication, and I'm hoping for a good Game Pass deal because my Game Pass lapsed. So,
do you think the $40 is a good value for the experience?
Yeah, I think $40 is a good thing to experience it.
Let me look that up in US money. Let me see how much is it.
It's probably
Melee,
like
is it
20...
Melee like Dead Island 2, like where that's like the focus and guns are kind of secondary, or
no? You can like it's so yes and no. A lot of your skills rely on your melee combat to build up your abilities, but you can use the guns as much as you want. There's no ammo for them. It's just a timer that resets before you can use them, and it's quick too.
Cooldown.
But using your melee actually speeds up your cooldown on your guns. So
then is it kind of like almost like a Bayonetta kind of thing where you're encouraged, or like you get the power ups to do the extra supers, but it encourages. So I see you get a progression of melee, which leads to like finisher with a gun or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a bunch of finishers as well. Some of the abilities that you can get are just like ridiculously overpowered. So there's even hidden abilities you need to find in a chest. Like there are like it's not open world. There are linear levels, but there are exploration paths you can take.
Sure.
Where you'll find stuff, and sometimes there'll be perks hidden in a chest, which you can't unlock until you find them. But yeah, no, it was a fun time. I ended up having to actually put the difficulty on the lowest level. Like that's how hard some of these bosses are. The combat itself is not really challenging. It's once you get to the bosses where they're throwing the boss and mobs at you at the same time, it's just impossible. Some of them just overwhelm you.
Do the bosses feel cheap, or does it feel like you are making a mistake and that's why you got hit? Versus like M. Bison and Street Fighter 2 back in the day, just cheating his butt off.
Yeah, so it's not M. Bison levels. However, it's very hard to deal with the boss's moves, which you will learn the pattern for, but then also have mobs swarming you at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Because some of the bosses have attacks that are like, one of the bosses has a move that will literally blind you. Literally, it turns your screen red, and you can only see like in a little bit around you.
Yeah.
But you'll have enemies swarming you at the same time as this boss is trying to set that off.
Okay.
So like, and it will indicate that you can stop
right now. By the way,
in the US, 30 is a great
price. And they have a
game
trial for it, by the way.
It's only I think an hour though, so you'll maybe get through the first mission. There are 16 of them, by the way. 16 missions.
This also makes me think of like RoboCop, or I ponder, like, is this one of those games that are going to be free, the monthly free games down the road?
Maybe. I will say this is a game by Flying Wild Hog. So like just so it's not AAA, but it's
made-up name.
No, they've made other stuff. I think they made the On Rails RoboCop game actually. Or Terminator games.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the bad one.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But this game is good. I enjoyed it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
The other game, the second game that I've been playing is Immortals of Avium, which I also got from my local library.
Library coming through right now.
Yeah.
Got some good games in your library. My library,
dude, my library keeps up to date with things. They already have Spider-Man 2 on the shelves at the library.
Wow.
Like they keep up to date. Dottie will laugh at this though. They have 4 copies of Gollum.
And that may be
come again.
That may be 3 too many.
Yeah, they have 4 copies of Gollum. But like, library's staying up.
I bought it, so I can't say nothing.
Sure, but why buy it when you can rent it for free?
My library's not that.
Dottie paid $3. How did you pay $10 and Dottie paid $3?
Because Donnie is the ultimate opportunist. He's like the Seth Rollins of PSVG. He finds deals, he curb stomps them out, and he gets the best deal he possibly can. Literally, that's Donnie's skill. Me, I look for deals and find the worst deal I possibly can. I'm the opposite of Seth Rollins.
Fair enough. I I've been playing Immortals because I've wanted to play it since it came out, but it came out at a really bad time. It came out in August, right? So
yes, it did.
Which was a slow period for us at work, right? And we're in a slow period now because it's the holiday season. Nobody wants to do inventory right by that. So I've got free time right now, right? So I picked it up and I've been enjoying it. I'm like on mission 6, maybe. It's pretty fun. I ended up also like that one was also on sale, and I bought that one, so I own it now. It was half off as well. Hence why I don't have the money to buy Evil West.
So then you enjoyed Immortals more.
Well, no, I'd already beat Evil West, so I picked the game that I knew I was like.
Okay.
I enjoyed them both the same. Like they're very good games. Like, I enjoyed both. Right. It's just I picked the game I hadn't beat yet to buy. So
gotcha.
Because I've already beat Evil West. Like I beat it and returned it, right? So like when I buy it again, I'd be doing a new game plus run through.
Okay.
I bought the game because the way the library works is you can renew it up to 5 times as long as there are no holds on it. But right after I took it out, somebody put a hold on it, so I didn't want to have to wait. I didn't want to have to wait to play it again, so it was on sale for half off. I bought it, so. I'm enjoying my time with it. The magic is very good. I do notice that sometimes when a lot of stuff is happening on screen, the game can experience slowdown, which is a bit odd, but it is, I guess, to be expected when you're using a lot of particle effects for all of your attacks. It's very particle effect heavy. There's some side stuff, but like you have to unlock that as you go through. I'm enjoying my time with it. It's very quippy, though. I will say, like it's more quippy than the MCU at times.
That sounds entertaining to me as someone who's an old action fan.
So, Ellie, for those who don't know, what is Immortals of Aveum? Because I'm quite sure people are like, what the hell is that game? I think.
Okay, so Immortals of Aveum is a first-person shooter, but instead of guns, your weapons are magic. Blue, red, or green magic. So like blue magic is like your sniper rifles, like your focused like single shot weapon. Red magic is like your shotgun, and green magic is like an SMG. So like that's how that works. It's actually funny because I kind of found a spell that it also has a gear system that can change like the effectiveness of your weapons. It's kind of explained to you. It's not intrusive though. Like you're not collecting gear to be like the strongest. Like you just find stuff as you go. I found one for my shotgun that essentially changed it from a shotgun to a rocket launcher. Like literally it's a single shot, but it just explodes anything in the vicinity.
That's cool.
So there's also skills for each color of magic. Some of the green skills, like green magic skills, cause you to get health back as you kill enemies. Some of the blue magic skills like increase the effectiveness of all your spells, etc. It's very good. I don't know what the hell is going on with the story though. It's very convoluted, but I'm having fun with it. So we'll see how that goes. I know that they just added New Game Plus and like a higher difficulty mode as well. So I'm sure like there's some stuff in the game that like you might not be able to even do until after. So we'll see how that works.
Are you switching between the magic types or do you like focus like this is my sniper build, this is my shotgun build,
no, like you will find enemies that you need to use. Like there are some enemies who have shields that are like, for example, it's a blue shield. You have to use blue magic against it to do damage to it. Like the game brings enemies against you that like make you use the stuff evenly. Cool. I really like the shotgun though. It's just very good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
sometimes you get siloed into a gameplay choice, and it actually sounded a lot of fun to be switching between different magic types to take out various enemies. So that's great.
Earning skill points is easy too because it's like as you level up in games, like your skill progress gets higher. And sure, it's getting higher here, but to get your first skill in this game, you needed like 300 points, and I've got like 12 skills, and all I need to level up is 554 points. So, and like there's some things that like as you go through a level and you kill, you gain 100 at a time. So like it's pretty easy. There are trophies or achievements for each of the, like having all skills unlocked in each of the builds. So I imagine you can unlock it all. So
yeah. I mean, you would have to at least, like, if not on your first playthrough, on a New Game Plus.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. I'll probably report back on the story when I beat it. And then the last thing I've been playing is still Alan Wake 2, which is going very slow for me. Not because the game is slow. It's not. I'm having a great time with it. But I'm going for all the collectibles as I go through it. So, I just finished Saga's 4th mission.
All right, cool.
Which I did last night. Really enjoying my time with it. I'm not going to spoil Alan Wake 2 for people, so I can't really talk about what I did in the mission because it's kind of a huge spoiler. I will say it was very funny to go to a theme park area that's based on coffee.
That sounds cool.
I actually might like that as someone who enjoys coffee very much.
Yes.
Well, it's great that you have a game that you can take your time with and enjoy and just kind of really absorb instead of just, trying to blow through as quickly as possible.
One of those 26 internet tabs I told you about is actually the achievement, not the achievement guide, the collectible guide. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So.
It's always nice to have a little bit of help with those.
Oh, yeah. Especially in Alan Wake, because I wanted to get them all in Alan Wake 1, but some of them required you playing on like nightmare difficulty, and fuck that. Delvin, what you been playing? How was your Thanksgiving?
I was all right. But let's get to what I've been playing, because this is special. This is just something special. I've been playing, like Alan Wake and stuff like that. But what Stealth dropped that no one knew about, probably even the creators and people who made it, Walking Dead Destinies.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Is that part of the Telltale series? Or
No.
What? I was playing what it is right now, Snurts.
Yeah, what you got?
Walking Dead Destinies is a Walking Dead game based off the TV series.
Okay.
That it retells the story of the TV series, but the interesting thing about it is you can make choices where you can change the story, like at pivotal points in the series. Like, for example, I'll give one right away because I saw a clip of this. Okay.
Episode 2 of the series ends with Rick essentially handcuffing a guy to the roof.
Merle.
You handcuff Merle to the roof. Well, you could choose to back Merle up, and instead of Merle getting handcuffed to the roof, it's T-Dog that gets handcuffed to the roof.
Yeah, you can choose to side with racism.
Wow. Man, Delvin, it must be everything you've always dreamed of right there in the game. Like, finally, something for you.
Let's side with the racists.
Oh man,
I will say this. I want to start with the good things about it. I think the concept of it's actually really cool. Like, if you're a Walking Dead fan, and the whole concept of, like, for one, it takes a little bit of the ideal of State of Decay in terms of, like, you're supposed to have your own area, and you can it's third person for one thing. You have your own little hub area that you can go to, and you can make decisions and kind of build on those decisions to kind of help your community or not. That sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
The problem with this game is everything else behind it. It is fundamentally, it plays fine. Like, when you press forward to walk, you walk. You press back, you shoot with the gun, it shoots fine. But the game looks like an old iPhone game.
Oh.
And it plays like it's terrible. Like the voice acting is terrible.
Like none of the
models,
so they didn't even get the cast. Okay.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Also,
nice.
if you see a photo of Merle, he does not look like Merle, and Rick does not look like Rick. The guy,
Yes.
whatever they mocap John Bernthal's face on, it looks like they took John Bernthal and stretched his face out with an eraser. Like
it looks like
that.
You know how in 2K they have the little thing where you can put yourself in the game and it always comes out fucked up.
No,
like,
but I
you
follow
scan
you.
yourself on the phone.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, right. Yeah, you
phone
scan your own
feature.
face to make your own character. Yeah, I heard that was
exactly.
not good. I heard that was
It
not good
looks
at all.
like they look like they just watched the show, and as they were watching the show, oh, there's Rick Grimes. Let's scan his face real quick on our phone.
They probably put the phone up to the screen too, and they're like, "This is going to be so
up to the
good."
screen.
Also,
Yes.
the voice, the only voice that sounds remotely similar to their character is Morgan. And that's funny because he's in this game for all of 30 seconds. Because this is a retelling of the show from seasons 1 to 4, where you can make pivotal decisions that change. Like, spoilers for The Walking Dead, but it's over, and I don't think anybody here cares except Delvin and I. In the end of season 2, like the fight between Rick and Shane, you could have Shane win instead of Rick. But like,
yes.
I mean, my idea was that you can finally get off that fucking farm, and you don't have to be there for an entire season.
Let me get to
I know. I've only watched like
here.
the first 4 or 5 seasons of Walking Dead.
There's a lot of interesting, fun concepts here, but it's so bad. It's terrible. Like, this could have been if they had a game, whoever made this game, I think it's the same people who made the Kong game.
It is the same people who made the Kong game.
If they had gave them like 4 or 5 years to make this game, this could have been an excellent game. Fleshed out, creative.
Yeah.
It would have been a really cool tie-in game. But it looks like they gave them 3 weeks. And that's the problem. Like, I'll give you an example. For one, the game starts off just like the show. And each mission, the missions are short. The missions are probably like 15 minutes.
They're like 10 minutes long.
Yeah. And what it is like each mission is like an episode of the show. So you start off like The Walking Dead dude. You start off in the hospital with Rick, and you go through that. And then after you go through, once you kind of meet up with the crew and stuff like that, you can go up. There's 2 things you can do. You can go do your regular mission that kind of continue the story, or there's always usually a conflict that's going on in the house, and you can pick who to side with in the conflict. Sounds like a cool concept, right?
Yeah.
The problem with it is it doesn't matter. It has no effect on the story. It has no effect on anything whatsoever. It doesn't boost your morale with that character. You are just picking to be picking. Like, it has no effect on the story whatsoever, no effect on the gameplay. It does nothing. And then to add on to that, there are certain, like, when you go on your missions, there's always a side mission that you can send somebody else out to do, like State of Decay does that too, where you're like, hey, and they'll give you a whole bunch of options, like, hey, T-Dog, you can send T-Dog out to get gas, or you can send Daryl out to go hunt food and stuff like that. And you can pick one of those options, and during the mission, they will call you and give you a choice. And based on the choice you pick, you can either get more experience points or less experience points.
Yeah,
but it does not affect the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's no consequences for if you pick a wrong decision.
That sounds like a very old game. Like, like we've had moral stuff since like a long time ago. Xbox 360 days.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's like an old PS2 game. I wanted to point out, on the topic of experience points, the game is also glitched in this regard. You can actually get all of the experience, like all of the skills for characters in one go, because the game does not recognize that you've spent them. So the game will give you points where you can pick up a bunch of experience points all at once. They're literally just littered all over these missions. You just find them and it'll randomly give you like 7 skill points here, 4 skill points there, 2 skill points there. If you spend all of those skill points on skills and then reload the checkpoint, you can pick up all those things again, but you keep the skills you already bought. The game is incredibly glitched. You can literally exploit it.
You can just farm your way to max level, and then your choices are even more.
But you won't. The game is not hard. The game The game is incredibly easy.
It's literally hit one, stab. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. But this
and you only play as Rick?
No.
You play as different people.
Okay.
Depending on what choices you make and certain missions,
so when you send them off to get gas or whatever, you're playing as that character?
Or? No. So while you're playing, like for example, let's say you're playing as Rick. One of the missions has you send out Daryl on a mission. Yeah. You do not play as Daryl.
Gotcha.
You answer a question from Daryl during the mission you are playing, and that determines whether you get a successful expedition or not. It's real weird.
Okay.
Correct.
Huh.
Now, another cool thing about the game that I do like is the fact that there's based on the decisions you make, if someone dies, their skill tree, because all the skill trees are combined together. Like each character has a different skill set, and once you unlock that skill set,
skills apply to every character.
With you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it applies to everybody. But the thing about it is, if you don't unlock that skill set and that character dies, you lose whatever skill set they had after that. Like I'll give you a good example. Like this is a spoiler, but who cares? Nobody's gonna play this game. Don't play this game. There's a point in the game which I didn't realize, which I think is really cool because they change little details about it so you don't realize what's going on. They kind of make it fun. So, in the series, there's this part where you have to go out. Carl gets injured, and you have to go out with someone to get medical supplies for Carl.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
So, in the game, it says you got to pick between two of Herschel's daughters to go with you. Me not realizing what's going on, I picked Maggie. So me and Maggie do the mission together and stuff like that, and we get to the point where we're leaving, and Walker grabs Maggie and she falls and she's asking for help, and they give you a choice to say either save Maggie or save the medical supplies. And I'm like, well, I like Maggie. I'm going to save Maggie.
Right.
Me saving Maggie kills off Carl.
One of the main characters of the whole show,
yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
So early in the show, he's just gone. And his skill, and the rest of his skill tree is gone, which I thought was cool. Oh, that's pretty cool that Carl is just gone now. And anything that happens with Carl is null and void for the rest of the series. But here's the funny thing about it. The game, at points in the game, doesn't recognize Carl is gone.
Yeah.
No.
So there's still recorded dialogue there's still recorded dialogue. Like when you get to the point where Rick and Shane are having an argument, they'll mention Carl, but Carl's fucking dead. Why are you arguing over Carl? Is Carl dead?
Yeah. Yep. So as you know, the entire premise of the fight for Rick and Shane in season 2 of The Walking Dead is Shane thinks he can be more of a protector for Lori and Carl than Rick is.
Correct.
Yes.
That entire fight in this game is predisposed on Carl being alive, but he's fucking dead. So there's no reason for that fight to happen.
And based off of what happens in the game, who you pick, it would be Shane's fault that he's dead.
Yeah.
It's not like it's Rick's fault. It's literally directly Shane's fault. So if anything, the fight should be started by Rick, if anything.
Yeah.
But also I want to point out that entire thing in the game is so fucking contrived. What a reason not to have Otis, right? Are you gonna kill Maggie or Beth right away? You know what people are gonna do. What? Some of the situations they put characters in to make sure that you kill someone is so contrived. Sorry, spoilers again for The Walking Dead Season 2. One of the main things is that you're trying to find Sophia. Guess what? This game's hey, we're going to give you options to save people that died in the show. But you can't save Sophia. She dies anyways. Doesn't matter what you choose.
I'll give you another one. You can't save Dale.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, Dale has a skill tree. And the only thing you can do, you have to just upgrade his skill tree before he dies, because you don't have a choice to save him. You have no choice to do anything but to him. So if you don't know that Dale's going to die, he just dies. You just lose all of his skills from that skill tree.
Also, a little behind the scenes, the only reason Dale died in the show is because they fired Frank Darabont, and Dale is the actor who plays Dale is very good friends with Darabont and asked to leave the show, but had regrets and asked the show to cancel him being killed off, but they had already filmed it and didn't want to reshoot it. So That's why Dale was killed off when he was.
So it seems like this developer is having a heck of a time just keeping everything lined up. Like they needed a better flow chart for their story trees. Because if you cut one off and then still pretend that they're around, or you're not really, it's kind of false choices because they should be dead anyway. Man, what a mess. Also, I did do a quick Google search and for images, and it is terrifying looking. I'm seeing this one picture of Rick.
So,
and I'm like, I've seen better character models like on the original Halo back in the day.
Yeah. So, who did you pick to survive that fight, by the way?
Rick.
You picked Rick.
I never liked Shane.
Yeah.
Fuck Shane.
You're not supposed to like Shane. That's like his whole character arc.
You say that, but no. I'm not. Okay. I don't like Shane either. But I'm saying you say that you're not supposed to like. You're not supposed to like Shane. You say that, but you're also not supposed to like Homelander. And there's a very big audience of people who like Homelander.
Very true. People think that Rick is the hero in Rick and Morty as well.
Yeah. Or Heisenberg being the hero in Breaking Bad. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's such a lovable.
Hey, you know what? My favorite thing about this whole thing, though, like of people misreading media and liking characters that they're not supposed to like, was Vince Gilligan was asked, so, like, what was your inspiration behind, like, Heisenberg being who he is, yada, yada, yada. And I forget what, like, led to it, but, like, Gilligan responds, what the fuck kind of broken-ass home did you come to? Do not look up to Heisenberg.
Yeah. In fact, maybe there's very few people in that show that you should look up to, just across the board.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're human and complicated people with different types of moral ambiguity.
So, Delvin, are you going to finish this, or have you finished it?
I haven't finished it, but I think I am going to finish it.
Okay. Is it like
I want to see.
I was just going to say, is it like one of those things? I have to do it. You have to do it, right? I have to see how bad this is by the end. The thing about it is,
it's not hard at all. It's stupid, but it's not hard. Like, the boss fights are ridiculous because
oh my god,
I did like 3 of them. One of the fights is literally they just took the fight from the Last of Us and just put it in the game. The fight where you fight the big bloater.
They
literally do the same fight in the game, but it takes like 100 bullets to take this thing down. Like, why is this taking so long to just kill this thing? And I'm shooting it in the head.
It's just a bullet sponge for no payoff. It's not fun.
Yes.
So I assume you did not do the skill point exploit.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't know that was a thing. I just been like,
okay.
But I didn't need to because I have so many skill points. I have like 100 skill points I have right now because they just give it to you like candy. Like, here you go.
Some of those skill points skills get expensive, but like if you do that, I'm sure that fight would not have taken 100 bullets.
Oh, we will find out. But I'm
Are you going to get all of the achievements for this, though? Because I know that it's an easy completion.
Probably not, but I'm having fun because it's so bad. It reminds me of the old PS2 games I used to play when I was a kid. Like, this is terrible.
But have Delvin Jr. play it. He'll platinum it out of spite.
Yeah, he probably would.
He would. He would literally go. He would literally come to me and be like, "I hate this game so much," and I tell him, "Don't platinum it." He go, "But I have to."
I want to keep playing because I want to see how they do the Negan scene. I have to see that.
Hey, there is no Negan scene.
Yeah, this thing ends in
season 4. Negan doesn't come in until season 7.
I think Negan's in the game. I'm almost certain he's in the game.
I am 100% certain that Negan is not in the game. The game ends with the governor. The game ends with the governor. It's season 4. They cannot do Negan. It ends with season 4.
I thought I saw a choice. Let me check.
Yeah, because there's like the farm and then there's the governor, right? Because they go to the prison, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
because the reason I'm 100% sure Haley's correct on this is I stopped watching Walking Dead after the governor stuff. So like I never saw Negan. So why would they be in the game unless it's some kind of Easter egg for their awesome, highly anticipated sequel that no one will ever want to play based off of the quality of this game?
Yeah. I love the top question on Google. Is The Walking Dead Destinies a real game? It sure is.
Is it a real game?
Let's see.
So I wonder now who has the worst graphics of 2023? Is it Walking Dead or Golem?
Golem looks better than this game.
Or King Kong.
Oh,
King Kong looks better than this game.
See, that's another one that fell under my radar. King Kong, a video game.
No.
The gorilla?
You do play as the monkey, but I want to point out it's made by this same studio.
Oh, I see. So they have a reputation here of lackluster quality.
Yes.
That's something you really want in this industry.
Delvin, I can literally just pull up the achievements and tell you.
Yes, look that up for me real quick. I'm trying to find out because I thought I saw something that you could pick between. I looked up the choices you can make, and I thought I saw one where you could pick between. I don't want to. I probably shouldn't spoil that.
Did you literally go ahead, dude? It's The Walking Dead. Nobody cares.
It's probably Rick in a leather jacket, and you just got confused.
Negan is not listed on this achievement list.
Okay. I was wanting to make sure because I thought I saw one of the achievements say you could pick between Michonne and what his name?
Yeah, it's Glenn or Michonne. But that's a choice relating to the governor and the season finale of season 4 where Herschel dies in the show because the governor cuts off his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one just makes it, that's not as fun. Well, I still want to see how they play that out.
So it's actually the mid-season finale of season 4 when the prison gets destroyed. The governor cuts off Herschel's head in the show, and that's what starts the whole fight that destroys the prison and splits up the group for the rest of season 4. But here it's Glenn or Michonne.
See that screws the whole timeline up then.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this game is screwing up the timeline, is it not?
But even more so because I'm thinking that, you can try to get to the point with Negan and you can see, you pick between. It's more exciting to do that scene with Negan as opposed to.
I mean, I'm sure it would be. But here's the thing. You can't do that scene with Negan anyways because Abraham is a pretty integral part of it in the show, at least, and that's what this is going. Because in the comics, Abraham doesn't die in that scene at all. Glenn is the only one that dies in the comics.
Well, the comics are famously way different than the show, and I would assume way different than the video game that Delvin loves and can't wait to finish.
Well, no, actually, the video game that Delvin loves. The video game that Delvin loves, like the Telltale series, is set in the comic universe. Like it's set there.
Telltale is excellent.
I played the first round of Telltale series and was very impressed with it. I had a lot of fun. I even went through it a couple times just to do the, answer the questions differently and whatnot.
Yeah. But no, this is just based on the TV show, which in the TV show, if you're going to do Negan, you need Abraham, but he's not even in this game.
That's disappointing. This game,
wow.
Such as life disappoints me more and
we've
more.
probably given more coverage to this Walking Dead game than any other podcast out there in existence today.
Here you go, folks. Your Walking Dead Destiny's coverage.
Hey, Donnie knew this was
by
coming.
PSVG.
I don't have the poster on the wall anymore, but I used to have a huge Daryl poster on my wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had a huge poster of Walking Dead Destinies on your wall.
Yeah.
Where the fuck would I get a Walking Dead Destinies?
Your local library.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably play this game when it comes to my local library. I'm not fucking. It's $45 here.
$45 too much. By far, this has to be the worst game of the year, by the way.
This sounds like a game they give you away for free just because.
I want to play Golem now because I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, Golem can't be this bad.
I'm sure Golem will be more fun than this, but Golem is still bad.
Well, if I'm recalling correctly, Donnie had some nice things to say about it. Where it had could see like where the potential was within the game. Yes. And even though overall
I can see the
it was
potential
mediocre.
in this game.
So, Well, good luck with that, man. I hope you enjoy like the later half and make excellent decisions that don't pan out later.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed now. Haley just ruined my day because now I know like I'm probably like halfway through the game now.
Well, hold on here because I'm looking at one of the achievements. I understand how Delvin could be confused because the Act 5 achievement, like the achievement for Act 5, if I look at this image, okay, so I can understand how you can be confused. That's an image of Martinez from the show, by the way.
Yes.
But that I can understand how you could confuse that with Negan because they kind of have a similar build. But no, that's just Martinez in the achievement there. But there's no mention of Negan at all in these.
God damn it, Haley!
Yeah,
you're ruining my life, Haley.
Yeah, because it's Haley. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's my fault that you thought this game went further. Like you thought this went further into the show than they explicitly stated.
Well, and I was thinking too, and then like you come back for the next episode, and you're like, Haley, how come you didn't tell me Negan wasn't in this?
Yeah, that's what I should do.
Yeah, you were. By the way, on this, he messaged me and goes, "Why didn't you tell me this was out?" I go, "I didn't know. I didn't know it was out."
Yeah.
I mean, it fell under the radar. I mean, I perused the Kotakus of the world and IGNs and whatnot just to kind of see what's out there, and I didn't even know there was a Walking Dead in development. And if I saw those screenshots, I'd be like, "Oh, this is like 3-4 years out."
He literally texted me and goes,
10 years away.
Yeah. This will be like a Dead Island 2. It takes a generation just to make it,
Hey, but you know what? Dead Island 2 did real well for taking a decade to come out.
I did enjoy the co-op as well. I don't do too many games these days, very solo player, but that was a lot of fun. We had some moments too with like the drop kicking and then punching. And anyway.
Voodoo, voodoo, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you
voodoo?
Hell yeah.
All right. With that being said, let's get to our stories. We got some stories here. We got some topics. I know it's a slow week because it's Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Everybody's eating turkey and all that stuff. But let's get to our first news story. So, Five Nights at Freddy 2 Help 1 is coming out December 14th, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And it's PSVR 2 compatible, and they've added a lot of features to it for PSVR 2. For those who have a PSVR 2, all 6 of you, you can check these features. Let me give you the features that it has. I think it's pretty cool they have this. It has, of course, the haptic feedback. It has the 3D audio, the rumble in the headset, and it has the eye tracking system, so it can track where your eyes are going. And it has this feature called the Mystic Hippo, which is a mini game exclusively built for PS5, where players can challenge her ancient powers of perception. Pick a card, any card, and she'll peer through your soul to guess what it is.
I thought this was Five Nights at Freddy's, not Magic Simulator.
Well, they needed something for this game.
I don't know. It sounds kind of neat. Peer into your soul, see what you get.
Doesn't sound at all related to Five Nights at Freddy's, though.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's like one of those machines from Big, like the teller, like a animatronic teller.
Okay. Wild.
Yeah. So for those who are complaining that PSVR doesn't have any games, there you go. You have Five Nights at Freddy's.
Here's one.
Here's one. Yeah.
Although I would say, like, as horror seems to have a lot of potential for virtual reality because it is a all immersive environment. So maybe some people, find some joy in this.
Yeah, the Resident Evil games are excellent in VR. I can't even play them in VR. I'm like, fuck this. This is too scary.
Too scary, huh? Yeah.
Resident Evil 7, terrifying in VR.
Yeah, I bet. I was thinking
that dude chase you around, like, nah.
Yeah, that's the one with the chainsaw guy, right? Or am I getting Yeah, okay. I was thinking like Dead Space would be amazing with the VR, with the like out of space moments and whatnot.
You do not want to play Dead Space in VR. I'm telling you that right now.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
you do not want to have a necromorph coming right up into your color vision. You do not want that.
I don't think that would bother me that much But this big ass Resident Evil dude chasing after me with this chainsaw looking all gross and shit.
Sure.
No, Delvin, you forget that the Necromorph's hand is a freaking spear. So having a spear come right into your cone of vision could actually fuck your eyesight up. You do not want Dead Space in VR.
Oh, interesting.
I'm blind as fuck anyway. It won't matter. Can't see shit.
Yeah, when you play VR, do you have to take your glasses off?
All right.
Oh yeah, can you play with your glasses on the VR headset?
Oh yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, okay.
I usually put on my contact lenses to play, but yeah, I can play with my glasses. It doesn't bother me at all.
Interesting.
You can adjust it and it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
So for all you blind people who want to play PSVR 2, there you go. You can play with your glasses on.
I don't want to play PSVR 2.
Yeah, I don't have the space for it. I have a very cozy apartment, and I would be knocking everything and anything over or doing something silly with it. But
there's not enough space between.
It is fascinating. Yeah. Same reason I'm not interested in the Portal, even though it sounds kind of like an interesting concept. Maybe needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. But
we know Delvin's going to get it. So.
Well, and on PSVG, Josh had some good things to say about it with his setup. I could definitely see it being useful for certain situations, just not my own. But they don't make it for everybody.
That is true. They made it for somebody. I don't know who yet.
Yep.
All right. Our next story. So, Sony's getting sued for $8 billion.
Yes, they are.
So, a London tribunal ruled Tuesday that Sony must face a nearly $8 billion lawsuit over claims that the PlayStation maker abused its dominant position in the market by charging excessive prices to its customers. The UK Competition Appeals Tribunal ruled that Sony must face a lawsuit worth up to £6.3 billion, roughly $7.9 billion, over claims brought to them by Alex Neil, a consumer advocate who have worked on previous campaigns. Now, let me read some of the things that accuse Sony of. Neil's lawyers said that the aggregate damages estimate the case was up to £6.3 billion in court filings last month. Neil alleged that Sony required digital games and add-ons be bought and sold via its online PlayStation Store, which charges a 30% commission to its developers and publishers. The claim alleges customers therefore paid higher prices for game add-on content than they would have done. Sony has, of course, not responded for comment. So there you go. Sony's getting sued. I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
30% commission, therefore they paid more than they would have done on another platform. No. Xbox also takes a 30% commission, and so does Epic takes a lower commission on PC than Steam does, but all the platforms that you can buy games on take a commission. What the fuck are you talking about? That's how business works.
It's the same thing with the Apple's store. But I wonder, is it the percentage? Is it an egregious amount compared to some of the other services? Is 30%?
Well, no, because Xbox also takes 30. Epic takes 12%, but again, that's Epic trying to undercut the market to gain a leadership position. I believe Steam for the first certain amount of games takes 30, and then it goes down to 20 at a certain threshold of units sold. Steam is not 30 consistently. It's 30 for the first set number of units. And then after that, the commission price goes lower. But the only point of this lawsuit that could have any standing is the fact that Sony doesn't allow you to buy digital marketplace codes anywhere but their own store. So you can't buy you can't buy God of War Ragnarok digitally on, say, Amazon. You have to buy it from the PlayStation Store. That is the only point of this lawsuit that Sony could potentially have to worry about. But I feel like this is going to get to a judge's hands, and the judge is going to go, what the fuck is this? And toss it out the door. Because even in the UK,
Europe seems to be a little bit more willing to take on these giant tech companies, and they're gatekeeping a little bit more.
Well, yes and no, because the CMA thing was all like with Xbox, the CMA was like literally the only one holding up the deal, which again, that's all done with now. Except for the FTC is now trying to break them up. Like that's what their lawsuit about from the FTC. I think that's a waste of money because you're good luck proving that. But I was not a fan of that merger, right? But with the CMA, they just wanted them to spin it like competitively so it favored the UK in a way. Like the CMA was all about trying to get a win for them, right?
Okay.
That did not pan out well for them, actually. And it's actually like leading to some irregularities being discussed about the CMA in the UK. However, there's really no standing for this lawsuit at all because again, it hinges on the fact that like Sony takes a 30% commission. Okay, so does Xbox, so does Steam. Like, if none of the other people did it, you might have a foot to stand on. But all of the companies in the gaming space do this.
Well, and that makes it seem very strange that this individual is targeting only Sony based off of that information. So why not go for everybody?
Yeah.
It's not an individual though. It's like a lawyer group or tribunal thing, I believe.
Oh, okay. I just remember that with Alex's name or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
He's leading. He's leading the charge, but
he's
like
leading the charge. Gotcha.
Yes.
Because I mean, why not go after all of them? Go big or go home.
This is going to go nowhere. It's the same thing with like the FTC still ongoing suit against Activision and Xbox, which at this point the only thing they could attempt to do is try to break them up. But good luck. I thought
that all got approved.
So it did get approved. If their law, like if the FTC were to have their suit go forward, the only outcome for that is to then break up Activision and Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is a much harder victory to win than even the victory that would have been hard, which was preventing them from merging. Like that's a much harder thing. Okay. Like it's an antitrust thing. Like it's much harder. Like they're just wasting taxpayer dollars at this point. So
as they do.
Yes.
Correct. But yeah, I don't understand the point of this lawsuit because again, it's only going after Sony when all of the marketplaces that sell digital video games do this. And Sony's not marking up the price.
The point is to try to get Sony to settle. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
They probably feel like, hey, if we can't, we're asking for an absorbent amount of money, but we could probably get Sony to settle for $100 million, or Sony could be like, hey, fuck you, we're not settling.
Yeah.
And then the case just goes to trial and they lose. But either way, if they try, the worst case scenario, they get nothing. But
best case scenario, the only thing that best case scenario, if this goes to trial, the only thing that happens if Sony loses is they have to sell their digital games on other marketplaces like Amazon or in Walmart or something like that. This will not result in lower game prices.
No, because then those other service providers will be taking their cut.
Correct.
Yeah.
If anything, if this, which I highly doubt it would happen, if this were to go through, it would leave other companies liable to get sued for the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and it open up
absolutely.
A can of worms that they don't want to open up. Yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of precedent right there. Yeah.
All right.
So,
anything else you want to say about this nurse before we move on?
No. I agree. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I thought it was kind of interesting the way they sell it as we're trying to make everything more fair. But then, like most of this stuff, if you kind of dig into it a little bit deeper, people seem to have ulterior motives or it doesn't make sense. Seems like people making a lot of noise for nothing.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Our final topic. And I think that one of the people want to talk about. So there's a Last of Us 2 remaster, and it's releasing January 19, 2024. Mm-hmm. And it has a new roguelike experience called No Return, in which you can pick between different characters for randomized encounters, in which you can get rewards for compete on a global leaderboard. The game will also include some lost levels and sections that weren't in the previous game. The remaster will also feature improved loading times, enhanced graphics, and haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. So, what do you both think of this remaster of The Last of Us 2?
I'm in day one alone for just the chance to get the platinum again. But also, I don't understand why folks are mad that this is happening, because all of this work that's been done is, while yes, only announced as coming to the PS5 right now, all this work was done obviously to put this on PC. This was also the only one of Sony's PS4 exclusives which had not received a upgrade yet.
I will say this: I'm less mad about this one than I was about the Last of Us Part 1, because this one at least has like the lost levels and stuff in it, and more actual stuff in the game.
Also,
if Part
1 was full price,
did that, I'd be like, okay, yeah. The Part 1 would have did that, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Part 1 didn't do nothing with it. It's just it's The Last of Us again, but pretty. Like, all right, cool. But
is this one of the, like, you get upgraded for $10 if you have the original game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's okay. All right. Yeah. Because we kind of went back and forth to this on Discord as well. Like, I'm very skeptical about, these upgrades that, like you're saying, just makes the game more pretty, Delvin. But if it has a more robust package, like Haley, I think you brought up on the Discord chat, like you get DLCs for Ghost of Tsushima and other perks, that seems more worth the dive. And getting a roguelike experience, and if you're into this game world, that's never-ending content. As someone who's a fan of Hades, roguelike, you just keep going back and back to the well, so that increases the replay value significantly. Even though I have not,
sounds fun.
I'm not a big Last of Us aficionado. I didn't really like the first one, to be honest. I didn't like the combat and the stealth.
Blasphemy.
I know.
No,
I don't bring it on.
That's not blasphemy. That's a literally the most popular opinion. People do not like Last of Us combat.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And
That's the popular opinion.
So maybe this is an opportunity for me to take the plunge or something like that, and get like the latest and greatest version. And if I don't like the story, which I
will say the combat in 2 is way more fluid than it was in 1. Like you
good.
Like
good.
Like
that makes sense.
In 2, there's a dodge mechanic for combat. You can literally like prone in the glass, like in the grass. You can actually there are set, like, you kind of see this in Left Behind, the DLC for Last of Us 1. There's sections there where you can like lure infected into fights with actual human enemies. That happens more frequently here in 2. Like, they couldn't really get it working in Part 1. So in Part 2, it happens more frequently. You can like actually like lure them to fight and just sneak past them. Like, there's a lot more you can do with the combat in 2.
Great.
And while I'm not a fan of like Abby's side of the story of Part 2, like some of Abby's moves are more like Joel's, and Ellie is more fluid and faster, but like you can still do the same kind of like dodges that Ellie does as Abby. So like, like you're not locked out from anything, just you'll notice a different move set as you change characters.
And I would presume with the remastered edition that they would continue to just tighten up the combat. And if you're having a roguelite experience, I would assume that they would be really working on unique encounters that hopefully you don't find in either of the game versions that have previously existed. So
I don't think Part 2's combat needs tightening up. Like, if you tighten it up, it's actually going to feel sluggish.
Gotcha.
Like there are I don't know if you're on Twitter enough, but like there's Mooch, like I don't know how you pronounce his name, but it's like Much118X or something like that, who frequently posts like edited gameplay videos. Sometimes frequently reposts videos of Last of Us 2 gameplay where like they're running through and dodging enemies and like melee attacking and then gunshotting. Like, it's some of those compilations edited together look real nice for gameplay. But again, I'm seeing people upset about this online, going, "Oh, well, this means Naughty Dog's not working on anything else." That's not how game development works. And also, Neil already came out and said this was a small team working on this. So,
Yeah, I mean, if Naughty Dog's a big enough studio where you can be working on multiple games at once. Like when I was working at Pandemic, they would always have stuff in pre-production, stuff deep into the crunch, and stuff somewhere in between. It's not if it's a smaller studio, sure, they're probably working on one game at a time. But somebody like Naughty Dog, I'm assuming they have the bandwidth and could probably get even outside help from like Sony or whoever else is helping them make these games to buff up staff as needed.
That you were on this whole goddamn video game podcast.
Yes.
You got all the way to this point. Didn't even mention that you worked on Pandemic.
Yeah, I worked at I was game testing for 2 years. I worked at EALA on Mercenaries 2. I worked at Pandemic on Lord of the Rings Conquest, and I worked on Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, the game at Luxoflux, which is the worst studio ever. I am very glad that they are closed because a lot of
worst Transformers game too.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. But you know what the best part is when the credits roll.
That was your fault, Starts.
And you see Joshua D. Stearns. I worked on multiplayer, so I'm the reason Optimus Prime is overpowered. And
you're forgiven.
Real quick sidebar. My favorite bug that I ever written was Megadong, because when Megatron is flying in his robot form, it looks like he has a very prominent male penis in between his legs. And so I was like, this is supposed to be for kids. I don't know if we should have Megadong flying around the map while he's blasting Autobots. And then the
blasting just got a different connotation, didn't it?
Skeet, Prime.
And then the developer came back and it's like, that is as designed. And I was like, cool, just making sure, yes, I did do video game testing, but it was so long ago that,
video game testing on Mercenaries 2. Man, yes. I feel bad for you because that game released in a not great state.
Oh, absolutely. And trust me, there's this thing called
as well.
There's this thing called known shippable KS, and now when I'm playing a game and it crashes, or there's like some like level of detail issues, a hole in the map, something not like loading properly, I always go KS baby, KS, because I guarantee you some tester brought it up somewhere and there just wasn't enough time to fix it, or they were too late in development. And now with the prominence of day one patches, I should say, I guess I should have mentioned before the hour and 24 mark that I used to test video games.
Yes.
It is something that I really enjoyed and thought I was going to make a career in, but then was unemployed for a year, and now I work in advertising, which is a whole other thing. So, but yeah, I loved my experience with it. No regret putting those 2 years in. It was really interesting to see how the sausage was made, and I'm really sad that EA screwed over Pandemic because it was a great studio to work for at the time, and they had a lot of heart, and some of the stuff that they were working on before they were shut down seemed like it was going to be a blast. But I digress.
Yeah.
See, that was a good tangent. Like that tangent.
Yeah.
Well, so hold on here.
I could talk more. We could talk more, but like I don't really want. Yeah, I don't know. Like that wasn't on the docket or the topics. I can go into more. If you guys have questions. It doesn't matter.
We don't have nothing to do. We have nothing to talk about.
Okay, but again, before we move on, we never heard your thoughts on this, Delvin. You kind of just sat there.
Oh, I love it. I think it's way better than what they did with part one. Way better. Part one was like, they were like, here's the game again for $60? And like
70.
F off.
It was
$70. Here's the game again.
I bought it.
For $70, F off.
I bought it and
Did you add anything else?
Hold on. I bought it and I platinumed it in how long? Give me a sec.
2 weeks.
No, not even. I can guarantee
hours.
You.
28 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah. Like the movie.
I platinumed it in 3 days, 51 minutes.
I was close.
Yeah. Sometimes you just know.
3 days, 51 minutes.
So, but yeah, but the first one, like, they made it look a lot better and they added certain things, but it wasn't enough to be like, oh, I know people are like, oh, it was enough. Like, nah, it really wasn't. It was like, it looked better. It played better, but, this sounds like they added just enough to be worth like, all right, this feels like, here's part 2, the director's cut. Like, here's some more stuff. Here's some more elements in the game that you probably like. Like, that sounds pretty cool. I know they added, like, you can play the guitar freeform now
Yep. There's also
to,
unlockable costumes for Abby and Ellie this time, which for some reason was not a thing in the original version. I don't know why.
Yes.
So for anyone who hasn't played Naughty Dog's games, unlocking costumes is kind of a thing for them. Like, it was a huge thing throughout Uncharted. Like, if you beat Uncharted 1, you could unlock a costume and then play the whole game again as Elena, for example, or the villain of Uncharted 1, who's very forgettable, and I don't remember his name. But, for example, let's use Uncharted 2. You can play the whole game through as Lazarevich, right? Like, the villain that's chasing Nate, Elena, and Chloe through the whole game, right? Like, you can play as Chloe, you can play as Elena, like, you can play as those characters. But then with Uncharted 4, they changed the way costumes work because they had real-time rendered cutscenes. So for Nate, it was you could only costume him up as costumes that Nate wore through the game. Or and like, you could change costumes for other characters, but you couldn't play as those characters. Just because of the way cutscenes works. But then they did costumes for Last of Us Part 1, like the remake, right? They worked there. But Last of Us Part 2, when that released, there were no costumes, like, at all. It was very weird.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's only Naughty Dog game
not
to have them.
Maybe they just didn't have time to get to it. I don't know. They're saving it for their third remastered.
Yes.
Yeah, that's become a thing too, and I don't understand. Like, Naughty Dog gets more flack for this than anybody, but like, Naughty Dog's games were the only ones that hadn't been done yet. And I see people going, well, this prevents Naughty Dog from working on like Jak and Daxter. Hey, they don't want to do that. They've already said that like, they don't want to go back to Jak.
You know what prevents Naughty Dog from working on Jak and Daxter? Y'all ain't buying the motherfucker. That was
yeah. I'm looking at you, Delvin.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Delvin Jr., literally going, oh, Jak's going to come back one day. No, it's not. Jak's
going to come back to sell 8 copies. Yeah, good luck with that.
Like, there's a difference between a franchise that needs to come back and a franchise that, like, a remaster would do well of. Like, I'm not asking for Infamous to come back. I don't expect them to make more Infamous games in the trilogy. But a remaster of the first, second, and Festival of Blood would sell gangbusters, and I know it will because there's plenty of people on Twitter asking for it. And you don't even have to do much work to that.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would dive into it.
I think bringing back Infamous makes a lot more sense than bringing back Jak and Daxter.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but I also
way more sense.
I also don't expect Sony to do that while they have the Marvel license.
No.
Yeah.
So
I would, by the way. I would definitely bring back, if anything I'll bring back Infamous. Infamous or Resistance.
Resistance would do well, I think, but that's another thing, right? Like, that's why they don't do that, is it didn't sell well. Like, it sold well in its first iteration, and then 2 and 3 just did not do well.
And after the hype of the Spider-Man games and Wolverine coming down, right? I can see them maybe even taking the engine of Infamous and just throwing in a Marvel character. You know, there
are Marvel characters that do use like city-based powers. So
right, yeah, you can just kind of mimic the traversal. And
that was kind of the contrivance with Infamous, was like, for Infamous 1 and 2, Cole was like, they wanted a character whose powers weren't just like outlandish. They were like something that you could encounter in everyday life. And then it kind of got a little different when they made Delsin the Power Sponge, but he's literally just Peter Petrelli from Heroes. Like, that's what Delsin is. Yeah. He's literally just, hey, let me shake your hand. Oh, I've got your powers now. And then Fetch is she's neon based, and her small game was fun, but man, I see people going, give me a whole game as Fetch. No. Laura Bailey is great. No. Not enough
there to drag it out. It's good in small samples.
Fetch is a good character, but I don't want a whole game as her. Like, neon powers in that game are limited. Like, they're very limited. They're good for critical hits and the very fast running you can do throughout the game. But the other powers, smoke and video, do way more like not just in like damage, but also in like power scaling. Like those powers are more efficient than the neon powers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if they're gonna do a new game, do a new character. Like I want, like, I would love a new Infamous.
I would
game.
say bring it back.
Yeah. But I do say bring Cole back, because that's literally what they hint at in Second Son's story. They literally hint at the fact that he's still fucking alive because his goddamn body disappears from the morgue. Like, I don't know about you.
We all fuck alive.
Fuck
I don't think we're fucking dead. Whoa, Haley.
Hey, I do want to point out, I don't think they fuck dead. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but necrophilia exists, so there's that.
Yeah, but that the person doing the fucking is alive.
The person being fucked is alive.
Is dead.
The person being fucked is dead.
The person being fucked is dead, but the fucking is alive. Just to clarify.
No, Donnie. That's bait. That's bait, bro.
Now for the next season of The Walking Dead, the zombies fuck.
Hey, fun fact! Shout out to Marilyn Manson on like Talking Dead, which is the Walking Dead after show. Literally saying like the zombies fuck, and literally Chris Hardwick having to go, "No, Marilyn Manson, the zombies do not fuck."
I would have liked to have seen Chris's face when that came out. I could just kind of imagine it.
It was.
Oh wow!
It was something. This was around the time they were still in the prison, by the way. So like Lori was still around and pregnant, and that's what this whole conversation derived from, was from Carol having to cut into a walker to practice doing a C-section, because obviously medical intervention was going to be needed to have a baby. Right. And that's what triggered Marilyn Manson saying, "Do the zombies fuck?" Was that?
Well, the show had a good run.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I didn't. I come up with some brilliant ideas sometimes.
Thank you, Stud, for coming on and ending the show.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. I worked on terrible games. I talked about zombies fucking. Bye-bye.
You killed Transformers. That awful Transformers game.
God, it was terrible. I'm so glad I wasn't on single player.
Yes,
anyway.
Yes.
So there's anything else we got about this rogue-like remastered Part 2 experience?
So yes, no, Donnie, we're not dead. The show is not ending. Over my dead body.
Sure pulled a Cole there.
Also, yeah, I know. Also, neither is Cole. But it was kind of like leaked on because I guess this is a thing people do now, is scour LinkedIn profiles to see like new game releases and other this shit. Yeah, I don't know why people are doing this, but it got posted on Reddit. Apparently, there's at least 12 levels for like the roguelike mode. So,
yeah.
Well, the randomization is what makes those games fun. So as long as they have enough variables in there to oh my goodness, the chat you got me, Donnie. I had some things to say about how roguelites are fun, and then I just saw emoji zombie, eggplant emoji, another oh man. Zombies be fucking.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Again, Donnie said we were not ready. We were not ready trolling Donnie, but
I bet Zack Snyder's zombie verse they fuck in there. They may not.
They do actually.
Dead, but then Zack Snyder's. I know.
They do actually. In Army of the Dead, there's literally a pregnant zombie.
Yep, you know what I was going for, Haley. Very good. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's in slow motion too. Like you see them fucking in slow motion. It's very amazing.
Yep. Yeah. It's something.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm doing this much brain power into thinking how zombies could potentially fuck, and if they do at all. This is what I came for. This is what I'm all about, and I am happy to participate.
Wow.
Yeah, but Donnie, they're scouring people's private LinkedIn profiles. Like, well, not private, but they're scouring like some random developer's LinkedIn profile. It just feels weird. I understand they want to know things. I just don't.
Because if they're looking for work actively and they're bouncing around studios because they're only temp or they're only from game to game and not on a permanent staff, you're going to be having a very active LinkedIn profile so you can get the next gig. So it'll be very obvious who's been working on what, where you're going.
You just go on LinkedIn and just pews random video game profiles.
I mean, I would just look up like directors or programmers and just like who, you got credits in every single game. So you can kind of figure out like, oh, let me look up the credits of this game, and then do a LinkedIn search and see if anybody pops up and seems to be something relevant. I can see how it would work. Now, I do think it's weird. It does feel a little stalker-ish of the digital side. But like when you're looking, if it's public profiles, it's not like it's private.
No, I know that, but
true.
But people should know better than to add things to public social media. But LinkedIn's not really meant to be social media. I know that, like,
well, it is.
I know that CEOs use it as social media, but like most people are adding like their job history to it, and that's it. They're not out here being Linda, what's her name, who runs Twitter, talking about Thanksgiving being hard. Or some other.
So in the advertising world, people definitely use LinkedIn as a social media site to pump up spots, campaigns. A lot of the stuff goes, I am so proud of this spot on this company doing that. So I don't think it's the same as like a Twitter or a Facebook, but it's definitely a version of social media that's just more focused on the professional private sector. Or actually public sector too, but work business.
I mean, I have a LinkedIn profile because I had to have one for Sitel, and now I constantly get emails from what Sitel became. We should not answer that.
Oh, are they fast or slow?
That's a good question.
So I'm a very big fan of World War Z, where they start off with all their as they deteriorate further, they become slower and slower. But initially, if they have the muscle mass, they can still move at a decent clip. So it's going to be a little bit of both because the new zombies are going to be fast fuckers, and then the slower, older ones are going to take their time, baby.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the movie World War Z being nothing like the book it was based off of.
Correct. And it's very strange because I enjoy both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
The book is way different. I don't expect.
Delvin,
I don't expect you to read a book, okay? Like literally, if I recommended you a book,
you could have just left like this. I don't expect you to read, Delvin.
No,
your answer will be correct. No, absolutely.
I don't expect you to read a book. That's why I don't recommend them to you. But World War Z, the book, is like it's like a survival guide type thing. It's not the way that the movie is portrayed.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It goes through the full war. Anyway, this isn't a World War Z zombie podcast, but you are absolutely correct. It is very, very different. And they're both very, very enjoyable in my opinion. Even though I think I like the book more overall, just because it takes the full war instead of just like the beginnings of it. We love those zombies, though.
Brad Pitt in the book.
If you want him to be.
Brad Pitt in the book.
You want him to be.
No.
Yeah, that's Haley's correct.
Brad Pitt is not in the book.
And there's a lot of different characters, and it's kind of like letters. People are writing letters about their experience.
It's more of like you're not following the same person throughout the book. It's more like letters detailing what's going on throughout the war.
Yeah, it's well done.
Okay.
And now Max Brooks, who's the son of Mel Brooks, is actually part of I don't know if it's Pentagon level, but military think tanks because of the way he wrote the book, and it was so real that military brass were like, we need to talk to this guy. I find that fascinating.
Is very confident on military.
Hey, I mean, I could also give you the information that Woody Harrelson's dad is a hitman, so there was that.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good information. All right, let's get to these questions.
Yeah,
we got a lot of questions, so let's get right to
Oddly enough, nothing about zombie fucking in the questions.
Unfortunate. All right. Our first question from Yarn, and he asked, This will sadly be Jim Ryan's final Christmas as the courageous leader of PlayStation. What are you three getting old Jimmy for Christmas?
These fucking
nuts.
coal. I like how I went for coal. You went straight to D's nuts.
Yeah,
exactly.
How about a couple of birds?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Flipping the middle finger to everybody at home. It is quite fascinating how like this guy can be over this period of time of so many great games and just consistently put foot in mouth and talk out of his ass. I don't know how you can do so many of those things at once. I'm not that flexible, but it's just like, dude, learn to shut the fuck up.
I mean, dude, his entire fucking message of like, women are as good as dogs. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
This dude is just the worst.
So it's bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
All right. Our next question is from John 32. He asks, looking back at Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for this year? Oh, that's a sweet question. What are you thankful for this year? I guess we'll start with you first, Haley. What are you thankful for?
You.
Aww. Thank you for you too, Haley. Aw, that's sweet.
I'm thankful that I found a job really quickly, actually, after getting laid
off.
I'm
thankful you found a job too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's always good.
Like I literally was jobless for just over a month. Like I got laid off December 5th and I found WIS the week before January 11th. So
that's not bad. Yeah.
So it has its up and downs because there's slow seasons where like we have no work at all, but because after the 15th of this month there's like nothing, so like I'm off until the end, until January essentially, which that's a slow period. That's gonna suck, but come January I'm gonna have like maybe 1-2 days off because everybody wants to do their inventory in January.
Yeah, inventory is always heavy in January. It's always fun.
Yeah.
When I was working retail, it was always like, oh, we're over the holiday rush. They're like, nope, inventory January. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
There goes nuts. When I worked for Sony doing retail and inventory for the PlayStation.
No, I didn't. No. Here, this will make Haley may not know what I'm talking about, but Delvin, you will. Bugle Boy, linens and things.
Oh. What the fuck is that?
Exactly. And then Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bugle Boy jeans on Haley?
Bugle Boy tapered. Bugle Boy jeans.
What the fuck that is.
Yeah, it's a poor man's Gap.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Gap still around? I don't know if they're still around.
Yes, Gap is still around. At least here, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm thankful for work is an awesome thing to be thankful for. And Delvin.
Oh, yeah.
Delvin's cool.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, always Delvin.
Come on.
Why don't you go next, Delvin? What are you thankful for? Because I know you have a very interesting life, my friend.
Oh, you ain't lying about that. Life. I'm thankful for life. Thankful to be here another year. Thankful that my son's 18 years old. He's going to be getting the hell out soon.
Hell yeah.
It's good.
He's very not nice. Getting
Phil old.
Oh, you know that.
Well, I'm trying. It's not working.
You're trying. It's not working.
It's not working. We'll see.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you think, Snurts?
I am thankful for friends and family as always. And I'm also thankful that I've been very interested in podcasts. And when I turned 40, I bought a bunch of tech stuff because who needs a car when I can buy tech toys? And I bought a mic, a headphone, and I started doing my own dumb little YouTube things every once in a while. And it's
gotta tell you,
great that I've been able to be a guest on this podcast as well as Matthew's podcast, Dial Up Movie Club. And it's just kind of neat.
Don't know him.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Green Lantern.
Mr. Green Lantern. You know who Matthew is. Calm down.
Yeah. I was thinking of doing another Transformers tabletop reference, but that's been already played down. Mr. Green Lantern saying he doesn't know who Matthew is. Boo, sir. Boo.
Podcasting is the new midlife crisis.
Hey, if it is, I'm here for it. You know,
Instead of 40-year-old men buying Porsches and shit, they just buy podcasts.
No, seriously, I bought a
That's
MacBook,
what we do now.
a mic, a headphones, a TV for 4K, and a PS5, and I was like, okay, no more. And then my parents and friends and family were just like, most people get a Corvette, and I was like, I don't know.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't need that.
So when you bought your 4K TV, did you make sure it could do VRR?
Oh no! What's VRR? I don't even.
Variable refresh rate. Did you make sure that your TV has HDMI 2.1? I'm speaking a whole other language that Delvin doesn't understand right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, there's two of us now.
Wow.
I bought the same one that I bought that we got from mom, so I could do IT support.
Okay, what TV is that?
It's an LG 50-inch something or other.
Okay, when you go and turn your PS5 on later, it will tell you, like, there's in the settings, one of the options will be variable refresh rate. Click that, it will tell you if your TV can handle it.
Okay, sure.
If you turn that on, it will allow you to access the 40 frames per second modes in certain Sony games. And in some games, like, for example, Plague Tale, it will give you, like, more frames than it would normally.
There you go.
Okay.
Delvin's TV has it, I know for sure, because
yes, it does.
I know Delvin's TV has it for sure because he's got the fucking C2.
Yeah, I mean, I got the box that it came in downstairs too. I could just take a picture of that and send it to you.
Yeah, you could, but also the box would tell you if it has VRR, or it should.
Yeah. I went from a 1080p like TV that I got in 2007 to a modern TV. So the fact that I can just like.
When did you buy the TV though?
Target.
No, I said when. Like
this year, January. This year,
your TV should have VRR. Like if you bought a new TV model this year, it should have VRR.
Yeah. It was great. I love the upgrade. And that actually gets into one of our other questions too about getting a PS5 yet. But I love the new TV. I love the PS5. It blows everything out of the water from the previous generation, which is great.
Oh yeah. I miss themes though. Give me my themes back.
That's true. I used to have a really cool Assassin's Creed Black Flag theme on my 360 that I really liked.
All right, let's get to our next question from Smoking Joe.
Yeah.
Yes. Who wins in a fight, Wonder Woman or Optimus Prime?
Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's literally invulnerable.
Optimus Prime is in trouble.
Yeah,
I will say I love that Donnie's response is Bat Goblins. But yes, no. Optimus Prime is great, but if you put him in a fight with Wonder Woman, he's dead. Like that's it.
Yes,
he's dead, and not even the Allspark could revive him. Like
yes, he's torn to pieces.
Yeah. He would need both like the Autobots and Decepticons backing him up to even kind of like stand a chance.
Stand a chance against a literal god. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I know on Who Would Win show they've like talked about how like Megatron's cannon can take out a continent, but like, who cares? She can fly. She doesn't need to stay on land.
Okay, she can fly. Whatever. First off, and second of all, she can literally stand there full force and take the brunt of that cannon and receive no damage. The only reason she even has well, not even that. The only reason she has her bracelets is because it's kind of weird to have bullets bounce off of her chest.
I've seen that cartoon. Yes.
There is a cartoon for that, and that's why she has the bracelets. However, I will say it also depends on who's writing. Like if someone were writing, like again, whoever writes those things, they decide the winner. That's fine. But I'm actually talking like Wonder Woman's power level depends on who's writing her, because in the Bronze and Silver Age, it was very inconsistent whether Wonder Woman was fully invulnerable or her bracelets protected her from damage. However, In the modern age, it's very well known that Wonder Woman is fully invulnerable. It's like her gauntlets are just because they look cool. But she's fully invulnerable.
There we go. Well, 3 for 3 on that one. Wonder Woman wins. Not at all. He's taking damage left and right.
Optimus Prime literally dies all the time. Like, that's one of his character traits is he dies and comes back. He's literally fucking like Professor X level dies and comes back.
Yeah.
Or I could also say he's also Professor X levels of turns evil and then becomes good again. So
yes, Professor X, he crazy.
Professor X becomes a dick at times, like
especially when he has that helmet on and he's fucking around.
He is in a wheelchair, so he has reason for it.
Yeah, he's always a little harsh too. Like, anyway, all right, what do we got next?
Speaking of wheelchairs,
oh boy,
there you go. Good transition, very good.
Asks, if you can remake any PlayStation game, what would it be, and what would you change about it? That's an interesting question to ask.
Sly Cooper and just the first one.
What would you change?
I would change it to play the same way the second and third one do. So like you don't die in one hit.
All right.
Because for anyone who's never
play a lot.
It would because like Sly Cooper 1 is a lot more linear than Sly Cooper 2 and 3. It's like Sly Cooper 2 and 3 are kind of like Tomb Raider, like open world port hubs, so, kind of. But Sly Cooper 1 is just linear levels. But like a lot of the hardness of Sly Cooper 1 is just based on the fact that you die in one hit.
Okay.
But none of the enemies accessible, sure. But let's go with it would make some of those boss fights less annoying than they are. Like the bosses don't die in one hit. Okay. You do though. So
let me go a little granular with my answer. It's
sure.
Gonna be a little controversial because it's a beloved game. God of War.
Oh boy.
What are you doing?
Which one though?
The first one, the original.
No, the original PS2.
The first one, the original. There are 2 games labeled God of War, no subtitle.
Not talking about the PlayStation, the original OG PS2 God of War game, not the reboot.
2018.
I will remake that one.
Anyway,
it is a reboot.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's sorry.
Yeah, same thing. I would remake that one in the style of the reboot one, or the quote unquote reboot.
Yeah.
And kind of make the tone fit those games a little bit more.
Okay. So how would you have the emotional connection that you have with between the son, right? That's because that's what kind of grounds Kratos from just God-killing death machine to someone who's grown a little bit wiser.
I feel like there's a balance that you can kind of play out. Because in the first one, the story's good.
Yes.
But it's also weird that it has like these little like weird elements of like Kratos is going around just randomly fucking people for health and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like you can. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you can rein in some of the dude bro stuff.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
And tell a more.
You sure can, because David Jaffe's not fucking involved with it anymore.
Yeah.
That's why half that shit's in there is David Jaffe.
Okay. David B. Horny.
Like, just take out some of that stuff out and kind of make the story fits more with where we get into the retelling.
Okay, can I?
I feel like you can do a lot to it. Kind of
spoilers for the original God of War back in the day, but famously, he kills his own wife and child, and then the ashes become. Yes. So I could see if you play prior to that, and you actually murder your son in game, like I think your kid and wife, and then you all of a sudden I could see that being like a very good emotional pull that springboards you into like the later half of the game.
Yes. I think that would be a good place to kind of start at, like, have to like how The Last of Us does, have like a little beginning section where you play that whole thing and you end up killing. I think it's his wife and his daughter.
Correct. Yes, it's his daughter.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I misspoke.
And you play that scene out, and you you go through that, then you kind of forward up to him being the God of War and kind of retell that story again. I think you could do a lot with that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like it. I play it. I'm a God of War fiend. I've been in it since the beginning. You know, I would go to friends' houses and borrow their PS2 just to play the God of War games. So,
yeah, plus I think
great choice.
We already have. I think we have a remaster for the collection. Don't we have a God
Yes,
of War
there's
collection?
a God of War 3 remastered for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 1 and 2 are not playable on
Correct.
On PS5.
So I feel like if you kind of rebuild it and kind of made it off the new God of War engine, I think it'd be pretty cool. You can do some cool stuff with it.
Sure.
Just a different
Absolutely.
game.
Nice.
What's your answer, Snurts?
All right. So, as someone who's new to the PlayStation, started with PS4. When I was a Halo fanatic, everyone would say Killzone was a Halo equivalent to PlayStation. And I would like to see them redo Killzone and kind of give it a more updated, modern first-person shooter feel. But I also would like to see 4-player co-op.
Ooh, that sounds good.
They did that.
I like
that.
They
did that.
4-player?
It did not
work.
For
the original one?
Yeah.
No. They did 4-player co-op for the multiplayer for Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah,
which was PS4.
I like multiplayer. It would be nice if you can do something where you can play it single player or with friends, and not like a Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood scenario where you're mandated to have 4 people. But I can imagine if you have like 2 paths and you can have 2 people go left, 2 people go right, and kind of do different objectives and meet like towards this. I think that would be fun. And so that's the one that I pulled out of my magical rabbit hat.
I like that. I like the aesthetic of the old Killzone games. How it had that like dark fog to it. It kind of felt like.
Hey, remember the Killzone 2 trailer that they got panned over because none of that shit was in the game?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, I do remember.
The trailer looked awesome.
I do remember it not living up to the hype, but I think you could kind of look at the shortfallings of the older games and maybe tighten things up a bit and have a good brand new experience.
I agree.
Yeah.
Those are 3 great choices. All right.
Yeah.
Our next question from that Retro Cone, he asked, as someone who doesn't have a PS5 yet, do you think a Black Friday deal should help motivate a purchase? It feels like there isn't any reason first and third party titles to own one yet. Could this lead to skipping a generation? I would say there are plenty of reasons to own a PS5 right now. There are some great games that are first party and third party on PS5. And you're missing out.
Delvin, it's time for your it seems showly time to tell Yarden to fuck off now.
I would remake The Last of Us 2 and make it just like The Last of Us 2. Wink. Very good now. Very good. What you did there, Yarden.
Yarden out here just being Yarden. There's plenty of reasons to own a PS5. Like your library if you're on PS4, your library comes with you if you own it digitally, or if you have a disc. Like there's that original list of 10 titles that doesn't work on PS5 is down to like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, making a purchase is your own decision and what you need and for your entertainment. But correct. I was very much convinced as soon as God of War Ragnarok dropped that it was time. And I am completely blown away how the PS4 is now irrelevant in my collection. I usually hold on to the old consoles because one thing or the other doesn't work on the new. The PS5 completely and upgrades completely the PS4 experience. So to me, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok were enough. I still need to dive into the new Horizon game. And once I do that, I'm sure I'll have a blast with it. And a lot of those PS4 games also came with PS5 versions when I was buying them. Yep. So I have a lot of fun going through and playing like Miles Morales again and getting all those trophies again. With the upgraded graphics and the controller.
I did that backwards. I played the PS5 version. So I did the PS5 version of Miles Morales and platinumed that, then booted up the PS4 version and did the same thing.
Gotcha. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so I mean, it is always a personal choice on what kind of console if you want to skip a generation because it is a lot of money. But personally, if I saw a Black Friday sale, I would also be getting a 2 terabyte at least external or not external, extra hard drive. So because you're going to need that memory, and if you can get a good deal on the hard drive and you can get a good deal on the console, you'll be saving way more money than I spent. Too much money.
Well, if you're listening now. And it's
then Black Friday is over.
It's a Monday.
Correct.
No, I mean, I was going to say, because this comes out during Cyber Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And if I remember correctly, PS5s now are $349 at Target.
Well, if there's any in stock, because I've been seeing plenty of posts of people trying to use the Target deal for $349.99, but they are running into the fact that it's sold out. But yes, PS5s at Target have been $349.99 for the disc drive model.
Cool.
So that's a very good deal.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, that's why I'm looking forward to my PS Network expired today, I think. And I'm waiting for those deals on Cyber Monday because I'm not paying full price for that stuff. But
if your PS Plus expired, there is a deal itself on the network. You just have to go into your subscription thing. It'll display
I just haven't taken the plunge yet. But again, back to the question. I think it is an amazing console. I
agree.
I mean, I've been there since launch, and my launch games were Miles Morales, Watch Dogs Legion, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And y'all know I've got 300 hours in Valhalla.
Right.
So
I probably would have been there earlier as well, but I didn't have a TV that could run 4K, so it didn't really seem. I was like, "You're going to go all in or not?" For my personal taste, because I wasn't
that's fair.
On a TV from 2007 trying to play 4K games. That just would not make sense.
Yes.
It would super sample them, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's taking a 4K image and bringing it down to 1080, but it's like an enhanced image. So it brings it down to 1080, and then enhances it further from that. But that's totally your preference. But there's plenty to play. But again, this is all a thing of what kind of games are you into? Because you didn't really specify. So you saying it doesn't really seem like there's much for me to get. What are you into, right? Because as we get in here, I mean, there's Crash 4. There's trying to think of other platformers. There's a bunch of platformers. It's just hard to name one off the top. But if you're only looking,
what's the Little Big Planet one? Sackboy's Big Adventure.
Sackboy's Big Adventure is good. Technically, Ratchet and Clank is a platformer, right? But there's if that's all you're looking for, you're gonna have a hard time because it's not really the big genre it used to be, right?
Yeah, I think at that point you gotta get a Switch.
That would,
right? If you want platformers, I mean,
that's the platform for it, really. Yeah. But if you're into other titles like RPGs or first-person shooters or third-person shooters, there's plenty to play, right? It all depends on what you're into. I personally definitely think a Black Friday purchase is worth it. But if you're only going to use it for exclusives or only going to use it for platformers, that's a maybe type thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our next question from Hollywood Bones, and he asks, with the PlayStation Portal out now, the Switch breaking records, and the Steam Deck being one heck of a banger, how should Xbox respond to the growing popularity in the portable gaming space?
So they shouldn't.
I'll go to the first notes.
Yeah, do they even really need to? They have the Game Pass going. They're working with their partners on TVs, right? I mean, I saw Conan on his Clueless Gamer going through all that. I don't really know if they need to dive into it, and even if they did, why wouldn't they just partner up with Steam or somebody like that and piggyback off?
They already have partnered with someone, the ROG Ally.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They don't even need to develop one themselves. They could just kind of work with another person developing it and maybe have an exclusive Microsoft corner of things.
Exactly.
It doesn't really seem like necessary. And there is such a thing as oversaturation in the market. So, if we already have these portable options available, adding one more to the pile may not be the best idea from a business standpoint.
But also let's point out the portal is the portal is not what a lot of people assume it is, right? Like we've been over this, right? It's really you have to have your PlayStation 5 turned on and a Wi-Fi connection to use the portal. Whereas with the ROG Ally or the Steam Deck or the Switch, like that's all encompassing. Like you just do that, right? But again, Xbox has endorsed the ROG Ally pretty hard. Like they don't need to develop their own device for it. And if they did, it would probably be at Portal level, where like your Xbox would need to be on and porting the game to it. Like, because that's what Xbox cloud streaming is it's an Xbox somewhere or a PC, depending on if you're using like PC Game Pass. If you're using the cloud streaming, a machine somewhere is running that game and then streaming it to you. Like that's what the cloud streaming is. So, like,
yeah. It would be cool if Xbox came with their own version of the Portal or something like that, but I don't think they need it. I think, like you said, the ROG Ally is a pretty awesome system. I love the fact that we're getting all these handhelds, by the way. I think this is fantastic. I don't count the Portal as a handheld, by the way. It's not a handheld. It's some other shit. But I love that we got the Ally. I love that we got the Steam Deck. I miss having this in gaming, where you have they have the consoles, you have the handhelds. And now we kind of have a hybrid of both because, the Steam Deck can be a console that you can put on your TV and stuff, or you can have the ROG Ally, you have the Switch. This is awesome. I just love it. Like, give us more of this type of stuff. I want it to keep going. I'd rather this much more than all the VR shit, honestly speaking.
Yeah. Yes. I don't understand this like deep push into VR from everyone except Sony. Like, I understand why Sony's not pushing into it because it doesn't sell for them. But I don't understand the deep push into VR from other companies because, like, that's a niche market, dude. Like, it's very niche.
I think the Meta Quest is doing very well.
That's the thing. I'm not calling it like the Meta Quest is owned by Facebook. Like, that's a whole different thing. Like, and what they're advertising for the Meta Quest is different than like a Sony. Sorry, it is. That's a whole different brand.
That seems like the one that's kind of catching on to people, though. The Meta Quest is the one that I see people.
Well, gee, I wonder why. It's owned by Facebook and advertised across Facebook all the time.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, I picked up a 3DS, and I thought it was really amazing that I could play Zelda Ocarina of Time, along with some of the Super Nintendo and NES games on there, even some Sega, when I was visiting my folks up north. And now, like, if I had the money, I would totally take the plunge on a Switch or a Steam Deck just so I could play modern AAA games, that run on a more higher, hardware, basically more capable hardware. So yeah, I mean, people travel, people are around about, like, maybe you just want to be in your bed instead of like, your living room or something like that. Delvin in his many mansions, may need something portable so he can go hide from somebody, and I'm 100% agree on everything. Portable, yes. VR, meh.
More like not hide, more like make it so Delvin Jr. can't spoil games just because Delvin happens to walk into the room.
Yeah, I heard that happened with Spider-Man.
Yeah, literally, Delvin Jr. spoiled Spider-Man without intending to because Delvin just walked into the room.
Well, I mean, we all know that like Fantastic Four was going to show up, Delvin. So I don't know why you're so surprised when you saw the team up mission with the Human Torch. I mean, we all knew that was coming.
Yes.
Hey, shout out to that game though. Amazing Spider-Man was fun. That mission with it was Ultimate Spider-Man on PS2, but like the mission where you team up with the Human Torch was really fun.
See that here how this is great. I didn't even know that existed. I was just pulling some references out of the ether, and I thought
that game literally.
Yeah,
you can also play as
Wolverine. 100% believe it. Fantastic. Yeah,
you can also play as Wolverine there too. So
nice.
That is true. All right, Earth to Adam asks, what game do you have the most hours on? Check your PSN account if necessary, and we need numbers. I have over 1,000 hours on Skyrim for the record. That's a lot.
Okay.
So my first question. Oh, sorry, Harry. Go ahead.
No. I just this question was what I was alluding to when I said that my PlayStation is wrong and says that Dragon Age Inquisition is the most played, because it's not.
Yeah, I was going to ask you either you have 1,000 hours against a game.
Yes. I also have 1,000 hours in Skyrim, but that's across every platform I played it on, because I played it on 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Series X, PS5, and on PC. Like,
it is one of those games. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Delvin?
Probably Super Mario 3.
Nice.
If I would have guessed, because I've been playing it for so long.
Yeah. I mean, like 50, 60 years.
Year, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that long.
Yeah.
Now that we've answered Search's 1,000 hours question, what is your most played game?
Well, for me, this is why I bring up, and you guys are kind of poo-pooing City Skylines. But I have on the PS4 version 742 hours, and then on the remastered PS5 version, I have 142 with a grand total of 884. So I love this game because I can listen to wonderful podcasts like the Delvin Cox Experience and just make little happy cities with little happy people. And I cheat like a motherfucker, because I am using unlimited resources, unlimited money. And the thing I like is just creating the freeways and the towns and all the connections and whatnot. And it is one of those games where you can kind of like, because there's day cycles and you have to wait for things to build and things to accomplish. I was sometimes like, stop playing the game directly, leave it on, go make a sandwich, come back, and just kind of let it do its thing. After that, it's Fallout at 496, or Fallout 4 at 496, Mass Effect Remastered at 257. And then if you combine Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, it's a little bit much. I got D3 is 294, D4 is 233, and then Skyrim on Steam, I got 347. So I'm usually hovering around 100 to 300 hours for games that I really like and have extensive content. But most of them, like, I mean, as much as I played Spider-Man, I'm still like, on the PS4, I'm still barely clocking over 100, just because it doesn't take that long to beat the game.
Yeah. Okay, so my PS5 says that like my highest played game is Dragon Age Inquisition with like 400 and some odd hours. That's wrong. I
How
know.
Do you find this, Haley, by the way?
So you go to your profile.
Okay.
And one of the if you're on the PlayStation app, it won't show you. You actually have to turn the PlayStation. You'd have to actually go on the PlayStation to see it. It will. Like, you'll go there. No, I understand that. That's fine. Relax. I'm just explaining for anyone who wants to find this information. You go to your profile, and one of the options in there, this used to be where accolades were, but this obviously got removed from the profile in one of the latest PlayStation 5 updates. And now shows your most played games. Mine, however, is wrong, because for anyone who's unaware, before last year, game tracking on PS4 was wrong. So game tracking on PS4 would count it would count you as playing while applications are running. Like, so if you're watching Netflix and have the game paused in the background, it would still count the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Playing.
Yeah.
Mine is wrong, and also not displaying time correctly, because I know my most played game is actually The Last of Us Last of Us 1 remastered, because of how much time I played the multiplayer to get the platinum for it. It's something like 277 hours I have in Last of Us 1. But right around that area is also Fortnite on PS4, and I believe it's an RPG. I don't remember if it's like Witcher 3 on PS3 or something like that. It says my Skyrim time is up there as well. I don't like, again, my Skyrim time is spread all over the fucking place, but I know it's over 1,000 hours.
Okay.
But yeah, no, mine is wrong because of the way that I used to play things, which is I would leave a game running while like watching Netflix or whatnot. I don't do that now. So.
It seems like either a big oversight, or someone's like, we can really juice the hours of people playing if we just leave it this way.
Yeah.
You know, Back what you guys are saying, like, oh, if you don't have sales, you talk about something else. Like we have 500 impressions. It's like, yeah, but you sold one game. You know?
Yeah. Like for
time.
example, like after that, it drops down to like 100 hours. Like I have 177 hours in like the Witcher 3 like PS5 version, right? Like
and I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate I'm gonna get at least 100, some maybe 200 hours out of that thing by the time I'm done with it.
I probably would say, as of right now, currently, I have like 135 hours in Tears of the Kingdom, so that's up there.
Okay.
The most probably would be honestly Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
I played it and beat it on Xbox twice. Then I played it on PS3 multiple times. Then I played it on PS4. Yes, I probably got like 200 hours in Mass Effect 2.
I mean, if I have for the remastered only 257, I can't imagine if I whipped up the 360 and went through the originals on Xbox that I had. Yeah. Like it'd probably be double that easy.
Yeah. I love that game.
Yeah, it's great. They're so much fun.
Here, Delvin, I'm going to do you a solid right now, actually.
Okay.
For anyone who's unaware, since Delvin can't do it, because I know his internet can't support it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, there we go. I know you're not going to do it. Hence why I am pulling up your profile right now. See what your most played game is.
Detective Haley is on the case.
It says for you that your most played games in order are Batman Arkham Knight at 189 hours. There's no way you have 189 hours. And that's wrong.
No, that might actually be accurate.
Do you do the challenge missions? Because I mean, I've sunk some time into those.
I did the challenge missions. I'll look for them goddamn Riddler trophies. That might be close to being right.
Okay. It says his next most played game at 140 hours is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
That is also correct. I played The Witcher 3
and
for a while.
Then it says Dragon Age Inquisition at 127.
Did I ever tell you the story about that?
No. Tell me the story.
I got like almost to the ending of that game, and my PlayStation crashed, and it corrupted my save data.
Man.
And I said, fuck off, I'm never playing this game again.
Yeah, no, they'll do it. The same thing happened with me with... Sorry.
No. While we're on the topic of Dragon Age Inquisition, this is what I mean. It says I have 428 hours on it. I do not have 428 hours on it. But right underneath that, this one I think mixes both the PS3 and PS4 versions into this, because it says Grand Theft Auto 5 in brackets, the PlayStation 5 version, 401 hours. Hey, fun fact, I played the PS5 version of Grand Theft Auto for a grand total of 10 hours. That's it. That's all I played the PS5 version.
Yeah, because I don't recall you bringing it up.
It says 401.
That's weird.
And then underneath that, it says Fortnite at 335 hours.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because like RPGs and multiplayers are the ones going to like stack up the hours here. I mean,
yeah, like after that, it's Destiny at like 325. I was more talking games that I actually knew what my hours were, right? But like Fallout 4, 304. That's going to get larger. I know that's going to get larger because there's a next gen upgrade coming. So.
Too bad. Is that going to be Bethesda though? Is all in Microsoft now, right? So
no. It was already announced. It was announced for the Fallout. For Fallout's 25th anniversary. It's coming to everything.
Oh, cool! Excellent.
Still coming to everything.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool. But like the one that I mentioned, right? Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I've got 265 hours in, right? That's just the PS5 version. The PS4 is its own separate one. Yeah. Last of Us Remastered, like 227. Like. They're up there, but like, but yeah, like I said, all you do is go to your profile, and then there'll be your trophies as the first tab. The next tab is most played. So,
okay, all right then. Our final question from a Mr. Hopper 2400, a.k.a. Matthew Dawson. He asks, why is Sonic the Hedgehog the greatest gaming character ever created? This question baffles me.
Hey, so I don't want to break your heart.
Go, Haley. Break the heart. Break it.
I will break his heart. Sonic
Smash it.
is the worst character ever created in history.
Oh, boy.
He is a goddamn hedgehog who does nothing but eats chili dogs and runs around the screen with this weird fox. Doesn't accomplish anything. It's a scrub.
Hey,
let's stop praising this scrub character.
Oh, he loses rings all the time, too. And if you want to know more information about this, look up Sonic inflation.
There you go. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Hey, just as a side, if you look that up, make sure you have safe search on. Just
just
one of those scenarios. Okay.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Like I said, scrub character with scrub friends in a scrub universe. Bunch of slackers.
I mean, he's not even
was
close. Right. He's fucking Robotnik.
Kill all those dumb animals off in this universe, Robotnik.
Oh fucking Christ! Like literally, not even just like if we're going video games only, like he's not even close. Like,
so I'm very tempted to be nice to Matthew because he was graciously allowing me to be a guest on his podcast. But seeing how you also did the same thing, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. Sonic the Hedgehog is a leftover thing of our extreme 90s youth that is better left in the past. It was there. He ate his chili dogs. He said his really extreme things. He was faster than Mario, but not as cute or diverse with his power set. I'm glad Matthew likes Sonic. Everybody needs a hero. But when people think iconic video game characters, it doesn't even really hit my top 5. No. Like I'm going to be going to the Master Chiefs. I'm going to be going to like the Shepherds. If I had to pick like who's more iconic between Sonic and Mario, sorry, Mario has that every day.
Mario wins out instantly.
Yeah, Mario is like the most recognizable video game character in the world, I think. I don't have any facts to bring that up. That's just my opinion, I guess. But yeah, Sonic was always kind of like the B league.
Scrub. People think that a fat white plumber is more recognizable and popular than your lame hedgehog.
Although I'm looking forward to Chris Pratt voicing Sonic in the next movie. I think he's going to do a great job. I got you, Haley.
He'll do a great job, yes.
Got you, Haley.
I saw that fucking Garfield trailer and I wanted to toss him in a fucking blender.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Chris
I got the reaction I was hoping for that Chris Pratt line. Yeah.
No,
but anyway,
it's like even like in video game spaces, right? Like when you have Sega themselves saying, we hope to grow Sonic to the point where he overcomes Mario. I'm like, you've had 30 years. You've had 30 years. Happening. Good fucking luck. Even Sega's out here going like, yeah, our character's not great. No. It's not great.
Sonic doesn't even have a console to be on anymore.
Yamcha video games.
Yamcha video games. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Sonic got Yamcha'd.
Yes. You know who the mascot for Sega was? Michael Jackson Moonwalker. Wasn't even Sonic.
Well, hey, at this point, you know who's
Sonic 2.
You know who's a more recognizable character than Sonic at this point? Fucking Kiryu Kazuma is a more recognizable character than fucking Sonic at this point.
Yeah,
yes. Wayne Gretzky 94. the EA Wayne Gretzky game, like NHL 94. Wayne Gretzky's character, more recognizable Sonic.
I'm sorry to say that. Eternal Champ. Really, you're going with Eternal Champions as the mascot? That is a deep cut for an old fighter.
Way more recognizable than Sonic.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is. Actually,
Altered
Beast. Altered Beast, yes. The guy from Altered Beast, more recognizable than Sonic. The Splatterhouse guy, Sonic.
Actually, you know who was one of the icons in when I was growing up in the LA area at like Target when they have the samples to play games? Kid Chameleon. Kid Chameleon was in every single
legend
demo available for Sega Genesis purchases back in the day. And
I've never heard of this.
Oh, Kid Chameleon is a great Mario-like game where he has various masks, and there's something like 1,000 screens and 800 levels. You'll never beat it. My Sega Genesis actually overheated and stopped working because I kept leaving it on for days on end trying to beat it as a kid. It's definitely a Game Genie situation if you want to see the ending. But I would say that character is more iconic to a certain generation. Now, I'm sorry now that Matthew is never going to cast you as Green Lantern again, Delvin, for this slander. But I think this was worth it.
I agree.
Sorry, Matthew.
You will always be Jon Stewart in my heart, sir.
Yeah, and Sonic will always be bullshit.
James Gunn better get on the fucking phone right now.
That's right.
Exactly. Knowing Matthew, he'll hire Chris Pratt to play.
He runs into him randomly at a con. Hey, I got this audio drama.
Hey,
you want to play Jon Stewart?
That'll be great too, because I can hear the variety presses already now. White guy plays black character.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
And playing Jon Stewart
as Chris Pratt too, because he wouldn't even try to do like a Phil Lamar voice or something like that too. He just I'm Chris and I'm the Green Lantern. Blah 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 blah.
It's funny though because Phil Lamar was actually he played like he's actually in Supergirl, so like continues to play DC characters. So
well, he also actually he reprised his role as Green Lantern on the Superhero Summer House or whatever James Gavsey was a part of. Where they had like all these heroes kind of meeting up for a summertime event, and that was pretty cool. Feels great.
That was cool.
It's still very funny to me that Michael Rosenbaum voiced the Flash, but then later went on to be Lex Luthor.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. That's what happens, and we're getting to the part 2 and like the MCU as it ages that we're going to see people coming back to play different roles. But and then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's one of the things I love about animation and voiceover is that you find out that like Jim Cummings did both Tigger and Pooh, and then also Darkwing Duck. The legend, Darkwing Duck. Yeah. So and I could go on and on and on, but Point being is fuck Sonic.
Fuck Sonic.
Perfect way to end this show.